Because my sister, she went to an ER and didn't have to pay anything. They would have to treat them. My sister was on welfare and SNAP for like 18 years. Even
you
though
keep
in
telling
Michigan,
me
you're
illegal
only...
immigrants are doing these things, but it's always your sister.
Because my sister's a piece.
Trump testified against Epstein, right? If you read the
No, he
court.
didn't.
That's not what
Yes,
happened.
he did.
No,
Yes,
we
he
didn't.
did.
No, we
What happened,
didn't.
what happened in 2008 again? Somebody remind me. What happened in 2008? Oh yeah,
I
Talking about a
remember.
sweetheart
Isn't that when
deal?
Trump
that is what
banned
happened. Just
Epstein
because
from his
you
club?
don't know, hold on. Just because you don't know something doesn't mean you're right. You do realize that, right?
Yeah, I know that.
Wait,
Trump
hold
and
on.
Epstein had a
No,
falling out.
not you. I'm not you. I'm talking about logic in this guy right here. You guys realize that, right?
That's your
Just 'cause you're
kryptonite,
ignorant.
bro. Logic.
Yeah, in
'cause you're
2008, he had a
ignorant, so
sweetheart deal in 2008. I don't know what you're talking about, this testimony thing.
Right, you're
the guy
ignorant.
who
Yeah,
gave him the
you're
sweetheart
from
deal,
ignorance.
Trump
Why are you
hired
defending-
the guy who gave
Why
him
are you
the
guys-
sweetheart deal.
I'm not defending.
Trump was a
Drainy,
I'm just letting you know, this guy claims he's not Democrat, but he
Hold
said
up.
every Democrat thing.
You're defending Kamala Harris.
Right,
No, I'm not.
It's not even that.
Sorry, guys, there's absolutely nothing wrong with Kamala
false
Harris.
You're doing a false pretense, and you're just strawmanning for no reason. Just
really, I have a question.
relate-
I'm sorry. Why didn't so when Biden was like a president, why didn't he leak the Epstein files to just
Because
basically?
they're pussies. That's why I'm not a
There's
Democrat. Because the
plenty
Democrats
of
are
good
all 100%
reasons.
a Democrat,
There's
but
plenty
lying
of
Why would they be
reasons.
pussies? Like,
Just because
what
you
are they
agree
afraid
with
of?
everything
If
your
there was
party
any
says,
evidence
go
that they were
Democrat.
Trump, they would have
let him
used
respond.
it.
First
Wait,
of all,
let him
it's
respond.
not common for the president to know what are in these documents. That's first of all. So it's
That's
not like
when
Joe
it ran.
Biden just knows what's in these documents and knows that there's something incriminating about Donald Trump in there or not. Second of all, the president is typically not in control of the DOJ or FBI or anything like that. That's something Trump is doing right now by his own volition. And so when you say why didn't they do this under Biden or whatever, that just doesn't make sense. It was always under the FBI's discretion.
The president is definitely directly ahead of the DOJ. What do you think Biden used
No.
against Trump? He used the DOJ against Trump. That is a fact.
Can you show me
Democrats
any
do not
evidence that
believe
that's
that.
true?
That
I don't know
actually
why
is
you're
a
arguing
fact.
against facts. You're arguing against
Dude,
facts.
the Fed.
No, show me the evidence. For
Hell,
that.
the feds didn't even
I'll
try
show
to
you the-
deny that
this
the
literally-
DOJ was against Trump.
The Department of
Oh my
Justice
God.
falls
Yeah,
under the
yeah.
executive branch of the
Okay.
U.S. federal
Yes.
government.
Yes. So does a lot of other things, but the president
Who
does
is
not
in
have.
charge of the executive branch?
The president.
Can you
It's
show me
literally-
where the executive branch, which would be Joe Biden in this case, has directed these agencies to go after Donald Trump?
Wait. Hold up.
Yes,
So,
sorry,
okay,
sorry.
I just want to point out one.
When they raided
small
Mar-a-Lago?
detail.
Yes, that
That
was the
wasn't under
FBI,
Biden.
not under Biden's direction.
Yes, it
just
was.
because, just while he
It
was
didn't
president.
say, hey, go after Trump. The FBI, of its own accord, was investigating loss.
Yes,
Well,
and I
classified
would
documents.
urge you, if you think that
Under
Joe
own
Biden,
accord?
if you think that
you're
Joe
funny.
Biden was running the FBI, why is it while
Yes.
Joe Biden was president, the FBI was constantly
Yes.
investigating him
And
and
hold
his
up.
children?
That was kind of what I wanted to hit. Hey, can I hit on one thing with the FBI real quick? Because I actually had a point about that, which I was going to point. The head of the FBI, okay, the guy who was running the shit whenever Joe Biden was in office. What did he do the day Trump got in the fucking White House? His ass resigned after the fact that he confessed to the fact that he was working shit for Joe Biden.
That's just
Daffy
not true.
Duck, chill, bro.
That's
Yo,
just not true.
Clinton Smith, your brain is cooked, man. I don't know if you can have a conversation. Like, you're talking about body doubles and shit.
You're also having a lisp. You're yelling so hard.
Here, so
Me?
you
Oh,
can
no,
go.
I was born for this.
No, Clinton. Clinton.
Okay,
So
okay, first of all,
I have it right
okay,
here.
just
I
'cause
literally
he-
have it right here.
Okay,
hold on,
can
hold on.
you send it in
it's called,
chat?
it's
Yeah,
called
but
the
it just makes you
the
look bad with the
judiciary.senate.gov.
conversation. You're gonna have to attack
Can you send it in chat?
list.
Yes, I'm going to send it into that, but I'm just reading out what it says.
Where do you
Conservative
send it?
groups under FBI investigation include Charlie Kirk, Turning Point USA, Republican National Committee, et cetera, anything that's not Republican. All right, Dick Fox wanted to just case political investigate Trump. It was the vehicle by which partisan FBI agents and Department of Justice prosecutors could achieve their partisan ends and properly investigate the entire Republican political apparatus.
What are you reading?
I'm reading
Apparatus.
the website.
I
don't know how to spell it.
The word is
Wait, wait,
apparatus.
Apparatus, yes. I'm sorry. Grassley oversight sparked widespread reaction. Wow, was this wonderful? No, I'm not telling you that.
I don't
For
think
years,
what
the
you
deep
just
state,
said
man.
proves anything like
wait,
that, but please
the
send me the
Justice
link.
Department has
reading-
declined
I'm
to
reading through
prosecute
the
President
site.
Joe Biden.
You just send me the link so I can look at it.
All right.
Senate
We got
Judiciary Committee Chairman Chuck Grassi Tuesday that FBI's election-related investigation to President Donald Trump launched in 2022 swept in dozens of Republican entities, including the late Charlie Kirk's Turning Point USA, New York Post, and FBI investigation.
I mean, this sounds like a very Republican conservative source that you're reading from, but send it over and let's.
It's literally .gov. Okay, I'm about to send it to you right now.
Is it the House? Is it the House controlled by the Republicans? What you're reading right now? Because like the House committees are controlled by the Republicans. Those things are unhinged.
No,
but
this is Senate. This is Senate, and no, it's not unhinged.
The Senate controlled by the Republicans.
No, it's not. You do it. So I'm about to send it to you, so you can just read it for yourself.
Send it over.
We're getting past what we were originally talking about. Well, right. Well, I guess
we're not. I'm showing.
No. We're talking about.
I'm providing him evidence. He said that. Show me what we're Biden used the DOJ to target his political opponents.
Yes,
that's what I'm about to say.
Yeah, that's what he said. But the original conversation was about what is like the punishment that needs to happen to the people that have doomed, well, not doomed, because it's not really nothing's ever.
I agree.
Over.
What should the punishment be?
What should the punishment be for the people that have condemned our country to 4 years of fascism? And how do we root out the fascism?
Oh, so you're saying that you want?
So you're saying Donald Trump is a fascist?
Yes.
Yeah, he's been making those claims all day.
How is Donald Trump a fascist?
This isn't a link to what you were reading. This is just a link to the judiciary.
The website.
Are you going to answer the question of how Trump a fascist?
Yes.
Or are you just going to keep making that claim?
Trump is a fascist because he does things that are fascist.
That's
circular definition, just like every fucking idiot is.
Well,
a woman is how they feel as a woman.
First, let's define what fascism is.
Wait,
let's
guys.
define what fascism is, and then we can see.
That's
and then we
what I
can
was
see
trying
exactly
to get
how he's doing fascist things. Do you guys know what fascism is? First of all,
thank you.
What is the problem with fascism?
That's every time this topic comes up, I'm like, oh, how's he a fascist? Because fascism has a very long definition, and reciting it each time and interrogating each point to get to does he meet the thresholds of fascism because he doesn't get this many?
It's a political ideology. It's a political ideology for one. You can start there.
Okay, does it come from the right or the left?
It doesn't matter what it comes
from the right. Fascism
comes from the right.
Is a right-wing ideology.
From world history, fascists will strip people down.
It comes from nationalism.
Ultra-nationalism.
That's like me saying like the conservative.
If you think it comes from one party, just shows how fucking dumb you are.
Who said party? He said
I don't think you understand what fascism is.
Who said party?
Hey guys,
I don't think you know. I think you just go with whatever the fuck I might
hold on, just a second.
It's like me saying Confederacy comes from the left inherently because Democrats are historically aligned with the Confederacy. That doesn't make sense.
No,
you have to get
the Confederacy is a specific entity. If you said communism comes from the left,
cannot work, or you can't go see your family.
You can say communism comes from the right, from the left, and fascism comes from the right. That's how that works.
I don't believe that you're. I think that's just group thinking. That's called group thinking.
That's not group thinking. These are definitions of words.
It is.
I'm sorry. These are definitions of words.
These are definitions of words. You're associating a whole group of people with one worldview.
I'm not associating. No,
yes,
I'm associating.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You are, and you're doing that. And I think
how is he doing that? How is he doing that?
I don't think every Democrat because.
But hey, under Biden, you weren't allowed to see your family members die.
Because if that worldview was true, that'd be saying that because you're a Democrat, you don't believe in capitalism. You're a communist.
I'm sorry.
I just think
fascism is inherently a right-wing ideology. It cannot possibly come from left-wing
ideology. It's not a right-wing ideology.
The same exact way. The same exact way communism. The same way communism is a left-wing ideology. Communism cannot arise from a right-wing.
That's not true.
Stop. Wait. I have a question. Is fiscal conservatism a right-wing ideology?
Fiscal conservatism is not a right-wing ideology, no.
Yes, it is. What would you call it, Logic Gears?
That's something that they just kind of brought up. Fiscal responsibility is just how a country should operate.
That's not a justification.
Wait, did I say fiscal responsibility? Or did I say
you said fiscal responsibility?
Oh, I meant fiscal conservatism. That's what I meant. Sorry.
Well, you did say that. You didn't say that. He just he misrepresented what you said. You
Well,
weren't wrong.
fiscal responsibility has
Fiscal
different definitions if you're right
conservatism.
or left.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I meant fiscal conservatism. That's what I meant. Is that a right-wing ideology?
Well, conservative is more right wing, but like
I mean,
Like
bring
well,
right-wing
first of all,
into
this is
it.
the idea that you should be basically spending as little as possible, something along those lines. Yes, that would be more of a right-wing thing.
Yeah, I don't think the federal government should exist at all.
Sure, that's...
Be
Hot
careful
take,
with
but
that.
yeah.
I feel like
that's just wrong, but okay.
So within the U.S. specifically, I'm not talking about any other country, but U.S. is
why
very
the
unique.
U.S.? Why the U.S.? Why would
Because
you
I
do that
want-
to us? Get out of my
Because he lives in the
Yeah.
U.S.
Do you vote? Do you vote?
Yes, I do vote.
You should, like, every time you vote, you should call me up and ask me who you should vote for, because you don't care. Like, you don't want our government, goddammit. You should give me your vote.
What the fuck? Who
You
are
didn't
you to
even let me
determine somebody else's
explain.
vote? Wait, hold on.
That
Who
sounds
are you
like
to
you're a
determine somebody's
fascist,
vote?
actually.
That
I
sounds
mean,
like
would
fascism
you
right
guys...
there.
That's not fascism, but do you guys
It was a
think that maybe
joke.
there should be like
Taking somebody
literacy
else's
tests?
vote. Why? That is
But-
that's definitely
God forbid,
authoritarian.
man. That's a joke.
When it comes to like fiscal responsibility, it has different.
Let's be honest, he was fucking
left
around.
and right. The left and right both have different ideas on what fiscal responsibility is.
The whole point of what I'm
Yes.
trying to say is about the
But
fascism
how
thing.
is Trump a
It's like-
fascist?
Saying
That's
something
very
is
easy.
inherently left or right wing doesn't mean you're group thinking people.
So first we
wanna-
have to define fascism here, which is like ultra-authoritarianism with ultra-nationalism, and we can just kind of define these roughly as having a lot of like pride in your nation, overly so, that you say you're doing everything for the good of the nation. This sort of nationalistic rhetoric is very becoming of fascism, and also an authoritarian view of that only
But being
I
happy for your
can do
country
these
is a
things
bad
for my
thing, got it.
country. That is not even close to what I said, but good straw man. So you have this view where you alone, as this authoritarian leader, are able to do good for your country. That is what a fascism really is. It's kind of a cult-like mentality. It says
So every
the
leader
leader
for
is
every
able
country
to
is a
do...
fascist.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's what he's saying.
No.
That anyone who
Yes,
takes pride in their country
ultra-authoritarianism is every
fascist.
world leader. You guys, like, if you're
Only in
not going to be good
America
faith
can
about
somebody
this...
immigrate to America and
Because
still
America's
be
the
loyal
only-
to their
because
country.
America's the only country that can't take pride in their country.
So, like, fat,
Yes,
like, this is why-
ultra-authoritarianism is just simple pride for your country. Good job, guys.
This is my problem.
The,
See,
the
like, there's-
literary illiteracy in this call is just
Everything you said
dropping.
was just simple, just narrowed down to don't take pride in your country because that makes you a bad person. Because fascist is equals bad. Because I'm an idiot liberal who thinks fascist equals right party only.
Okay,
Can you
so
tell
no,
me
wait,
how
wait, wait,
fascism
he didn't
can
say that.
arise from the left?
You know, we have like checks and
It's not.
balances.
It doesn't
in
come
America.
from just
The
either
Senate.
party. It literally.
No,
yes,
just,
you
but,
feel
no,
more
but
common
tell me
with
how
the
it
right.
could arise from the left. I'm
You see it
very
more common
curious to
with the right,
understand.
yes, but you still can get.
No, it doesn't
literally
just have more
lefties
common
who
with the right. It
prefer-
can only arise from the right. Can you tell me how it could possibly come from the left? Do you know
Because
what
the
left-wing
people on the
ideology
left
is?
say how much they hate America, but they refuse to leave America.
That is the
Or-
exact
Wait,
opposite
wait,
of
here's another one,
ultra-nationalism.
here's
So
another-
how
here's
is that
another one.
fascism?
We
Here's
are
another
like
one.
non
Here's another one. We have people threatening to kill ICE agents, federal agents.
How is that
Why?
fascism?
These are,
Sorry, how is that
No.
fascism? If I killed
They're
every
threatening
ICE agent, how would that
they're
make me a
You're
fascist?
trying to give a justification to.
I'm trying to
people
define the word
because they're doing
fascist,
their
and you
job.
guys want to load this word with whatever you want it to mean. This is
You already
stupid.
defined it.
Dude, you just
I defined it,
contradicted
and none
yourself.
of you
just did
understood the
exact thing.
definition.
I
Could
guess
you
I'm a
guys
fascist.
define
I only
fascism?
want Americans in America.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm
we're,
sorry.
we're according
So-
to him, we're all
somewhat-
fascists.
one of
If
you
like
def-
our country,
okay.
we're
Oh my
fascists.
God.
Okay, one
Oh
of
my
you
gosh.
define fascism, please.
Okay,
You already,
here,
you already
I'll
defined
get-
it. I just narrowed it down to.
No,
that
you
being a
did not
fascist is
narrow
like
it down. You
country.
completely
Got it.
misconstrued it. Let me hear
No,
Drainy
that's
Boo.
what you
Drainy
basically
Boo, give
said.
me your
All I
definition
did
of
was narrow
fascism.
it down to what you really felt.
Th-
That's all I did.
You're an idiot. I'm sorry. I'm
Oh,
lowering you down.
Being
So
a
Drainy
fascist
Boo,
equals
give me
you
your
like to
definition
take
of what a
pride in your
fascist is.
country 'cause you guys are fucking
Okay.
bad. Oh, you like your
You can
country,
just
you're a fascist.
mute him, I guess.
All right, so
No,
here-
that doesn't make you a fascist. Okay, wait,
Okay,
stop, wait. I can
Okay,
say it.
I'm
I'm
gonna
the
read
other
it. I'm
guy.
gonna read the definition. All right, I'm gonna
Yes,
read the
please
definition.
read the
No,
definition.
I don't need you to read the
Shut up and
definition.
let me talk. Okay, he asked me. Okay, so I'm gonna read the definition that's right there present for everybody that can all look up this up. So it
Okay.
says an authoritarian and nationally right-wing system of government,
Yes.
and social organization.
Do you see
Keyword,
how the
right-wing system? Right.
great?
But
How could that arise
but-
from the left? Could you explain?
but
Yes.
But I'm saying the reason why I disagree with saying that it's inherently right wing. Yes, you could say that it's more applicable with right wing extremism.
I'm sorry,
right?
you read the definition. If by
Can
definition
you
it
let me
comes from
fucking
the
finish?
right,
Can you let
can't
me
disagree.
fucking finish? Can you let me fucking finish, please? Thank
okay,
you.
go ahead.
All right. All I'm trying to say is that where I stop at, right? Because I agree that right wing fascism or whatever, it's like suppression of liberal democracy, anti-communism, strong centralized leadership, military ultranational. Okay, right, whatever.
Sure.
Like something like Mussolini, right? But where I disagree
What?
at what separates us conservatives, why we're not fascists, because we don't even believe in those things. We
I
believe
didn't
in
say you
limited
guys are
government.
fascists. I was talking about Trump
Right.
specifically.
That is
But
true.
Trump's a
And his-
conservative.
the remove-
I think Trump's a populist. Right.
That's not true.
Uh,
So,
Right, but
so
what is
fascism.
what is
So
Trump
when
doing? What is
when
Trump
I
doing?
say
Wait, hold on. What is Trump's doing that's fascist though? That's where we're trying to debate here.
okay, so
Right, so
I
what
mean
is
we
he
could look
doing?
at things he's done just in the past month, but I'll briefly go over a few things. He's deployed the military against his own states. This is ultra nationalistic and
That's the
authoritarian.
National Guard.
And,
yes.
Yes, and this is the military, and this is blatantly illegal. That's the authoritarian
No, it's
part of
not.
it. It's done
He's
in the name of the
commander-in-chief.
country.
It's
It's
the commander in
illegal.
chief. He can do
The
that. It
commander-
is legal with the just. He has to have a justification, which he had.
You
Chicago.
can't,
wait,
no, you can't do it with just. You can't do it with a justification.
Washington
You have to
DC
do it within the.
Washington DC is not. Washington DC is not a state. We can agree on that, right?
We are getting lost
It's
in the
federal
weeds, guys.
territory.
I mean, you won't even let me finish. You
I
won't
don't
even
think he
let me
said
finish.
that.
bro.
I'm not going to straw man. I'm not going to straw man his position. He didn't say that.
Wait,
But
can we?
answering, what I'm defending is that he can do that because he's the commander in chief of the United States.
Okay,
Okay,
you can
we-
say
we-
that. The law does not agree with you there. I'm sorry.
the law does agree
I'm,
with
I'm
you.
not going
But
to
in a
like
way,
try and.
Washington D.C. is federal territory. He
In
can
a
deploy the
fasc-
National Guard whenever he feels like it. That's
Okay,
federal
can he
territory.
do that anywhere else?
He needs a justification if the government
No,
refuses.
he does not
to.
just need a
Yes.
justification. The
Yes,
justification
you
needs
do.
to
You
meet
do need a
specific
justification.
requirements.
He would need a
If
justification.
you
That is
just let
requirement.
me, can I even like finish the sentence, bro? He needs to.
You just say he didn't need a justification. I'm saying he did.
I'm saying there's specific laws that would allow him to do so, and he has not met the criteria for any of those laws. So when he does deploy it to a place like California, it is blatantly illegal because it's against the word of the law. If you disagree with that, you just don't know the law. Like there's no room for interpretation
I have
such that he can send
okay,
a
so
national
hold
guard
on.
to California.
I have a question about that. Since you know the laws of how to deploy National Guard so well, what are the laws to deploy the National Guard?
This is not
You can
the
deploy the
conversation.
National Guard if there is something beyond the control of what the local government can do in that state. So, for example, if there's rioting going on and things like that, the governor, if the governor asks, you always have the ability to send him in. If the governor doesn't ask, there has to be like some extraneous circumstances where they are actually like losing control. They have no ability to control it anymore. You can send it in there, or you can send in the National Guard in order to enforce federal law. So, such like when that black student was going to a white school and the state refused to allow that black student to go into that white school. They said, we're not going to actually enforce this law. The president was able to send in the National Guard to enforce that because that was a federal law.
On that specific note that you just said, that the state is refusing to do something about something else, like the black student going to the school, right? So if a state's refusing to
completely
deport,
changed that. It was federal law. If the state is required to comply with the federal law, comply to.
Let me finish, please. So
Sure.
the state is required to follow federal law, is what you said, correct?
Yes.
Well, that's not. Well, I was about to correct that right there. So if the state,
go
if
ahead,
there's a
correct it.
federal law that the state is not the state does not inherently have to enforce all federal laws. So in that case, they weren't enforcing it, and so they sent the National Guard in to enforce it.
Yeah, forced
Okay, so
integration.
so for illegal immigration, the states aren't enforcing that law because it's a
Like
federal
Illinois.
law.
Correct.
So
Yes,
yes,
like-
he does have justification to go in there with the
Yes.
military.
And also I can name the law itself right here. So for example, like Insurrection Act 1807. Or the second one, Title 10 of the US Code. These are constitutional emergency authority that is given by federal law itself. The presidency is allowed to do this thing. So even if a governor refuses the help or aid of the National Guard being sent, or they not fixing the problem themselves and refuse to cooperate, he can invoke these frameworks. And this is not a fascist invention, by the way, because there's multiple people who did this. Kennedy for civil rights enforcement in Alabama, Obama in Missouri, unrest, Bush, LA riots in 1992.
Okay, but
So Trump is not. So this is nothing new.
It's not new,
It
but
is historically normal.
It's not new. It's not historically normal.
And so again, you have to wait.
You have to let me respond to that, don't you?
Hold on. I know. So I'm going to ask you. So I'm going to ask you again. What is your justification? Trump being a fascist. Go.
Well, that's not even what we were talking about right there. We were just talking about the National Guard right there being sent.
We were talking
about Trump being a fascist.
Sure,
like,
yeah, but
this
illegal,
guys. You guys,
now we went down.
A legal argument.
We went down a little different route.
You guys derailed into a legal argument for I don't know.
Let me just wrap that up.
What are you talking about? There's nothing derailing there.
No,
just let me wrap that up real fast.
Here's why it was a derail.
The law that
he made an ideological argument, and you guys made it a legal argument because you say, "Oh."
Yeah, and I brought up the legal argument
because he brought up the law.
No, he said Trump doing something is this and also illegal. You said, wait a second, it's not illegal. So it turned from an ideological argument to
clearly. Hold on, just to clarify, logic clearly brought up that.
Let me make it clear what he is doing is illegal.
And I brought up the law.
Let me make it clear that it is illegal. The reason it's illegal is because when he does something like invoke the Enemies and Aliens Act and things like that, he is not using them within the same context of the law that they are meant to be used in. No federal court has sided with Trump about any of these powers that he's exercising because the law does not actually give him the authority to exercise those powers in the way that he is doing it. He is not following the rule of law.
Just giving approval.
The Supreme Court is obviously corrupt in that matter, and that's a completely different discussion.
That's not a justification. That's not a justification. Oh, that's circular reasoning right there.
Hold on.
That's not circular reasoning because that's not circular reasoning because we can look at the federal courts. We can look at the rulings.
You're pushing the narrative. Now you have to give a justification why the Supreme Court is corrupt. Tell me why the legality people itself that you know better than the law.
I mean, it's really easy.
I'm putting you into a corner. I'm forcing you into a corner. So go ahead. Give
You're
your
not,
justification.
but okay.
Can you tell me?
That's not a Supreme Court.
I mean, you're really not. This is the easiest point to prove.
Explain why the worst Supreme Court in American history is bad.
Really?
Okay.
Okay. Can you show me where in the Constitution it says that the president has absolute immunity for presidential acts?
Sir, that's a contradiction.
What?
Obviously, if he's the president, he would have president immunity in certain contexts. It just depends on the context.
I'm sorry. Where in the Constitution does it say that?
Where does it say in the Constitution that the president of the United States has president immunity in certain instances?
Not in certain instances, but for all presidential acts.
No, that's not what you said.
No, that's what I said. I said he has presidential immunity for all presidential acts. Okay, maybe I misspoke.
No,
that's what I'm saying now.
Okay.
I don't think I said that, but if I said that, it doesn't say that in the Constitution. Then why does the Supreme Court say that?
The Supreme Court said that? Can you show me where the Supreme Court said that the president...
Sure, you want me to bring it up right now? Sure, I'll bring it up right now. Supreme Court ruling on presidential immunity on all presidential acts.
Sure.
So
I would
Sure.
like to. I would like to say while he's looking that up.
actually happened in 1867.
That did not happen in
It was a
1867. Right
decision
here
with
in
Mississippi versus Johnson,
2024.
and the Supreme Court established that the president is largely beyond the reach of the judiciary by holding it could not direct the president Andrew Johnson.
I'm
blah, blah,
sorry,
blah,
that's
blah, blah.
absolutely not
So-
true. What that court case was about, I know the exact court case you're talking about. That was Andrew Johnson refusing to uphold. No, well, he wasn't refusing to uphold. He was
He
refusing
hated
to
black people
enforce.
so much.
Yeah, he was refusing to enforce a law, and they said we cannot force him to enforce a law. That is completely different than immunity, okay? In 2024, the Supreme Court ruled that former presidents have absolute immunity for core constitutional official acts, but no immunity for unofficial acts, while establishing a presumption of immunity for other official acts, requiring lower courts to distinguish between them, and complicates accountability for actions like election interference and potentially shielding a president from prosecution for many alleged crimes while still allowing some charges for unofficial conduct. And they would say unofficial conduct is conduct that is done as not the president, and official conduct would be conduct that you did as president. So this is presidential immunity.
I'm
this
reading
is
the Supreme
exactly
Court ruling right now in 2024, Trump versus United States.
So
it
this
says
is
that
exactly.
the former president has absolute immunity from criminal prosecution for acts that fall within the core constitutional powers of the presidency.
When
Yes.
did
This
that
example
happen?
is pardons, military.
that
happened
has
before
never
Trump
been the
was
case
president.
before,
That happened
right?
before Trump was president, right?
That did not
Yeah,
happen.
this happened before.
I mean,
it did.
it happened
It
like
happened right after
2024.
Biden pardoned his.
I'm literally reading
That
it right
happened
now.
right after
Yes,
Biden
in
pardoned his son
2024.
for cocaine use, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
But what ended up happening?
yeah,
you just lied again. You just lied again.
What did I lie about?
Supreme Court.
What did he lie about?
The Supreme Court did not say that the president of the United States
Has absolute immunity
absolute
for
immunity.
presidential acts, which
No,
are
it did not say
official
that.
acts.
It said
Official
what it
acts or
actually says-
presidential acts.
Sir, I'm saying to you that is not what it says. It says that the rule that the U.S. president, United States president, has substantial immunity for many acts, but not complete immunity for everything. You can go to the Supreme Court website, look at the decision itself.
Yes,
so
obviously,
it does
if
not
the
say it has
president
complete immunity, and nor does it say that in the Constitution as well. So I'm saying
yes,
that's
it doesn't
a lie.
say it in the Constitution. Where in the Constitution? Okay,
and nor did the Supreme Court
let's
say
take
that.
your
That's what I'm
stupid.
saying.
Okay,
I'm
let's
saying
take
the
your
Supreme
stupid
Court didn't say
interpretation
that.
of it.
I'm saying the Supreme Court didn't say that. I don't care what you're saying.
Can you tell me
Supreme
what
Court didn't say that.
exactly what you think the Supreme Court ruling means?
What I think the Supreme Court ruling means?
Yes.
It
what
means the
what
Supreme
do you
Court
think he
rule
has
what the law is supposed
immunity
to
for?
be. What I think the immunity is for?
Yes.
For just acts that the president conducts as part of the executive branch.
Great.
That's
Where
within
in the
the rights of the
Constitution?
Constitution.
Where in the Constitution does it say that the president has immunity for presidential official acts?
Wait.
The answer
So
is
you're saying
nowhere because nobody is above the
we
law. If
already
the
ruled
president
that,
does
but again-
something within their authority, but is not
Again,
within
that's a
their
red herring. I
not
didn't
within
say
their
that.
A lot of stuff
authority,
that's
but
not in the
within
Constitution that
That's
people get
not what
away
I
with.
said.
but within their
That's not what I
purview,
said.
and it's
I'm saying the
illegal.
Supreme Court didn't even say that, what you said. That's literally what I'm saying.
Where's in the
are-
Constitution that you get a blowjob from Monica Lewinsky in the Oval Office?
No, it's not. Let's not even derail.
So,
I'm
so
saying
for
that
so
the
for
Supreme
example,
Court
when
I'm
Bill Clinton,
I'm really agreeing with you, and
You're not.
also
I
adding.
don't think you are.
I'm adding on the fact that the Supreme Court didn't even say that. You're agreeing with the Supreme Court.
I'm not
basically.
agreeing with the Supreme Court. No.
How come? You said it doesn't say in the Constitution. The Supreme Court also said that's not in the Constitution. It says something completely different from what you said.
Can please?
You literally just said
please
that. Where
explain.
does it say in the
explain that.
Constitution?
Yes.
You said where does it say?
Does
in
it
the
say that the
Constitution
president has immunity?
Has immunity from presidential acts, right?
Yes.
And I said the Supreme Court didn't say that, nor does the Constitution.
Then what
say
do
that.
you
What
think
it
the
said.
Supreme Court said?
I'm reading what it says, and I'm telling you.
Please
I'm
read
just
it
gonna send
again.
the link. I'm just send the link.
Yes, send the link, please.
Oh my god, I gotta always do this fucking link jump and shit.
Yeah.
Supreme Court.
Okay, so like we went back to another legal argument when we were talking about fascism. So like the whole like if I said like
I think
it
it's
became an
important to show
ideological
that
argument.
he is breaking the law in order to establish.
Yes,
that
I
fascism.
completely understand that. But like, so let's say he isn't breaking the law, or like he's changing the law or whatever. If he's still doing something that's fascist, it's still fascist, whether it's following the law or not. That's what I'm
if
just trying
he
to get at.
changes the law to do something
So-
and say it's not illegal, then
so
that would
would-
be
So here's
That
the
is also
PDF.
that is
hold
also
on, hold on,
fascist
just
as
a
well.
second.
Hold on,
So
here's the
in
PDF.
your simplified
It's okay.
definition. In
I
a
did not give a
simplified
simplified
definition.
definition.
I'm not
You
talking.
give
Oh
us
my
a-
Jesus fucking
oh.
Christ! I'm just trying to get an idea so that we stop going on derailed conversations, right?
Sure.
Fascism. Would you agree that fascism is forcing people to do something for the greater good of the country?
No. There's
No,
No.
that's
multiple.
not true.
No.
Okay, cool. Whatever.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah,
It's
good,
like
good
you're saying-
argument.
it's
Good
like
argument.
utilitarian.
Cool. That's a good argument.
No,
oh,
that's
that's
not a good
utilitarian, but
argument.
utilitarian is also fascism, but that's not fascism because
I mean, have you
like,
have you ever
Utilitarians
seen
and
a
fascists are
country?
not the same thing.
Have you ever seen a country go from democracy to authoritarianism for the betterment of that country? Like it just
Yes,
like
Yes,
where have you
absolutely.
seen this
Nazi
necessarily?
Germany is one.
Nazi Germany condemned all their people to Armageddon. You think that was better for them?
I'm sorry.
Armageddon?
If you point
Yes,
out Nazi
World
Germany,
War II. Their country got fucking eviscerated.
they
What?
did.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter though. They were actually flourishing, right? They just made really bad.
They were
military decisions.
No, they
flourishing?
weren't.
They were flourishing. What are you talking about? They
I'm
absolutely were
sorry.
flourishing.
I'm
Okay,
sorry.
wait. If
You
I
understand
light a
that?
stick of
Hold on.
dynamite,
Germany
Hold on.
Germany
First of
was
all,
Hold
all
on.
because you're
Let's
screaming
let's
doesn't mean you're
acknowledge
making a
this.
point. Chill out.
Yeah,
Let's
like
acknowledge
you
this
do
because
realize
this
being
is
loud doesn't make the argument stronger.
This is
I
more
have to get
right-wing
louder because I
propaganda
keep getting
here.
talked. Logic Gear's buttery, soothing voice keeps talking over mine, and we're on the same
I'm
side.
sorry. So when people say, "Oh, but Germany was actually prospering during that time under Hitler
Oh
and
no,
all
it
that,"
wasn't prospering. It was in the Great Depression.
yes, but you
like,
guys
they
are
were
trying to
flourishing.
say
They were
that.
better than where they originally were. That's the argument.
So
No, they weren't.
so that argument is only able to be made because they were in a war economy. Okay, you're talking
Yeah,
about
but it's
having
not
a
like they
war
were
economy.
polishing
The
up
war
things, right? They were
economy.
flourishing literally.
I mean, they did make Ford. You have to realize that. So,
No, they
yo,
okay. So like you like look at if you like cut out a
you
speck of time,
quiet
they're like,
down,
oh,
Jesus fuck.
turn my mic down now. Yeah, turn my mic down if it's too fucking loud.
or have some decorum and just relax and talk
or
like
have
a
some
regular
discipline in your
decorum.
fucking vocal cords.
Talking
It's
with a speaking voice? What do you mean
It's
decorum?
just a suggestion.
No,
It's
you're
just a
clipping,
suggestion. I'm
dude.
not
You're-
saying you have to.
Oh.
I'm just saying it's a suggestion that people prefer. That's
So
all I'm saying.
So let me
yeah,
read the
if you-
Supreme Court ruling here.
I mean,
Uh,
you
I
sound
sent the
like
chat.
Hitler
I sent
right
the
now with your
PDF. I literally
screaming.
sent
Yes.
the PDF.
So the Supreme Court said in this ruling, taking into account how these competing considerations, the court concludes that the separation of power principles explicitated in the court's precedent necessitates at least a presumptive immunity from criminal prosecution for a president's acts within the outer perimeter of his official responsibility. That is presidential immunity right there, clear as day. I don't know how you can possibly misread that to be anything else. They said necessitates at least a presumptive immunity from criminal prosecution for a president's acts within the outer perimeter of his official responsibility. Okay,
Yeah,
the
we
outer
already
perimeter.
established that.
Where is that in the Constitution? Can you show me where that is in the Constitution?
It's not. That's why it's.
That's not in the Constitution. You're talking about the court ruling about absolute immunity from criminal prosecution.
Because they made it up.
No, it's not made up.
If it's not made up, where is it in the Constitution?
Sir, I just said that sir, I'm talking about the
Yes.
context is.
Yes.
Well, in that case, the Constitution's made up. So where did the Constitution come from?
I'm gonna blow,
Like,
yo,
we
I'm
can
gonna
keep
blow
going
my
back and back and back and
I'm gonna
back.
blow my
Okay,
brains
so
out.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry, so
judges
you-
can just
so
write
you-
laws out. Judges get to
Okay.
write the Constitution.
No, bro. So
nice
so the
one.
problem,
Nice deflection.
Freedom of
hold on,
speech
wait,
is only
wait,
meant
so-
for
wait,
actually
wait,
speaking
wait,
and
hold
pen
on.
and quill.
Sir, I'm saying you're clearly not understand what I was saying earlier. All
Okay.
I'm saying
Yes.
is that one, the Supreme Court in this even context isn't even talking about the Constitution. It's talking about a court ruling that happened in 2024 with Trump versus the United States and about criminal prosecution. And it was a
Right.
63 vote. It was a 63 vote. What this
Right.
is, it's a Supreme Court interpretation about a case. For example, Nixon versus Fitzgerald. This has created civil immunity for official acts. That's I'm using air quotes with official acts, right? This is This is expanded criminal immunity for certain official constitutional acts. So these are just judicial
First of all,
doctrines,
it did not say
written in
official
law.
constitutional act.
This is his court. This is yes, sir.
It said at least immunity from criminal prosecution for presidential acts, for the acts of the president within the outer perimeter.
That's
the
judicial
outer perimeter,
doctrine, sir. Sir, that's judicial doctrine, sir. It's already implied why you have checks and balances, separations of power, checks and balances.
Have you ever heard the phrase "no one is above the law"?
Yeah, I agree. Why do you think the Supreme Court ruled in Trump's favor? Because he was within the rights of the law. Thank you for proving my point.
No, it did not rule.
I'm sorry. You're too far gone. You're not even making sense. I don't know what to argue. I don't know what to argue because you're not even making sense. What you just said wasn't even logically coherent.
I explained to you that your question has even nothing to do with the Constitution. Because you already agreed. There is no clause. There is no clause in the Constitution that the president has immunity from presidential acts. Me and you already agreed on that. And I also added on that the Supreme Court agreed with you that that doesn't say that in the Constitution. Because the Supreme Court was even talking about the Constitution. It was talking about a court case.
I'm sorry. What does the Supreme Court rule on if not the law and the Constitution? Can you explain that to me real quickly? Can you explain to me where do you think the Supreme Court just grabbed authority then and said that they can actually just interpret new laws into thin air? Is that what you're saying that the Supreme Court just did?
I'm saying the court.
All courts can do that. Every court can do that.
To be clear.
For example, what? So like, do we really have to? I'm surprised.
No. Hold on.
Please explain it.
Almost every single law that we have right now is out of thin air, outside of the Constitution. Where's the speed limit law in the Constitution?
The legislative creates laws.
Where's the weed in the Constitution? Where's fentanyl in the Constitution?
The Supreme Court rules on laws and the Constitution.
Before we go forward, real quick, before we go forward, I think Abyssal needs to do a Civic 101 for everyone in here, just to make sure that you guys understand how our government works. So it seems like a lot of, especially Drainy Boo, doesn't understand how our government works.
What do you mean?
Drainy, you make absolutely no sense.
I want to be clear really quickly. I want to be very clear that like the Supreme Court and all other courts have a responsibility not
to interpret the law.
What?
Well, they have a responsibility.
That is literally the point of the court is to interpret the law.
Hang on. They have a responsibility to interpret the law, but they have a they have a responsibility
to the Constitution
do so within stare decisis.
Yes, and that's what it was doing. So, okay, so let me
I want to have the fashion.
Here, let me respond to logic. I'm talking.
So where in the Constitution does it say I'm not allowed to own a fully automatic weapon?
It doesn't say that. So
do you know what a law is? Do we not know what laws are?
Do you understand the Constitution gives Congress the power to
People are saying it's on the Constitution doesn't mean it's
we're derailing. Stay on topic. Let's stay on topic. Please let's stay on topic.
The Hughes Amendment. The Hughes Amendment has never been tested before the Supreme Court. To be clear,
we already know the Second Amendment.
Wait, what hasn't been heard from the Supreme Court?
The Hughes Amendment to the National Firearms Act of 1934, the 1986 Hughes Amendment, has not been tested before the Supreme Court.
We're not even arguing that. Can we just get back on topic here? I'm talking logic here. Okay, so logic. Let me explain my point again.
Please.
Right? So presidential immunity does not appear anywhere in the text of the Constitution. I think me and you are agreed on that, correct?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm talking to logic. Me and you agreed on that.
There's no immunity for the president in the Constitution. Yes.
I'm saying to you, it is a judicial doctrine created by Supreme Court.
What authority do they have?
Wait, hold on. I'm saying not precedent, not explicit constitutional power, but the framers relied on checks and balances and impeachments as the real safeguards. So not legal immunity.
Hold on, but the checks and balances are written into the Constitution, right? You don't just create new checks and balances yourself.
I'm saying that it's an implication. I'm saying it's an implication that's being used here. They're implying checks and balances.
Where in the Constitution does it imply that checks and balances prevent the president from being criminally prosecuted.
Well, it doesn't
imply.
It doesn't apply. It literally says it.
You just said it applies.
I'm saying, I'm talking. Wait, did I say? Did I wait? Hold on. Did I say that? Did I say the Constitution was conducting this investigation? No, it's a piece of paper. I'm saying that the framers. I distinctly said the framers. So listen. Make sure you listen. The framers relied on checks and balances. Where they get that from is the context of the Constitution, and they use that
makes
frame.
No sense. That's just circular.
That's not circular.
Yeah, I want to be
yes,
very.
It is.
I want to be very clear. I want to be very clear.
How is it circular when I'm saying to you that the framers got that they got this based off the law itself from the
framers? Like you're saying, the framers got the idea of checks and balances from the Constitution.
What?
The framers wrote the Constitution.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's circular. It makes no sense what you just said.
Sir, that's not what I said. How about you listen? No, that's not even remotely close what I said.
What did you say? Then clarify what you said.
I need to
repeat what I said again.
I need to intervene here. I need to intervene here. I want to be very clear. The framers of the Constitution knew how to write immunity. In fact, we know this because they wrote both civil and criminal immunities into various parts of the Constitution. But they did not grant the president criminal immunity. They did not do that.
They did not give him legal immunity. Yes. They did not give him legal immunity.
No. They didn't grant him criminal immunity.
It's just legal immunity.
Yes, for
the civil and criminal
presidency, like obviously if you do whatever, that stuff is still can go to court and you can go outside of you're not
if the president gives an illegal order to his military or to anyone in his cabinet, are you going to be able to take that president to court and say that he gave an illegal order? The answer is no, because of this ruling.
The answer is yes. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Wait. If the president issues an illegal order prior to the Roberts Court decision, the assumption was that stop.
The decision is backwards compatible.
Stop. Prior to the Roberts decision, the assumption was that you would be able to hold the president criminally immune, or criminally liable, which is why Nixon was granted immunity, which is why Nixon was pardoned for his part in the Watergate scandal. Because the Watergate scandal, stop 1 sec. It'll take me less than 30 seconds. Okay.
Hurry the fuck up.
If were the case that the president had,
we were talking about fascism, guys.
Really quickly, if
we have to establish that he's broken the law.
I would like to hurry up.
Man, you love the sound of your own voice. Hurry the fuck up.
If it were the case that Nixon or the president, the seat of the president in general, had presumptive criminal immunity, then Nixon would not have had to have been pardoned for his part in the Watergate scandal. But he was pardoned.
Hold on, a key part that you're missing out is that you kind of like, under this entire assumption of how our government works, is this would expect the Department of Justice or the AG to not be like a loyalist to the president, because who would bring?
We're not even talking about the Department of Justice. You're derailing. You're not even listening.
No, I'm just saying is like this entire thing only works like if you have someone to bring charges against the president in the first place.
I mean, the articulated responsibilities.
Everything he said has nothing to do with the DOJ.
There are no.
I don't think you heard what I just said.
There are no.
I'm talking about Drainy Boo.
I'm saying that you didn't hear what he said.
There's nothing in the oath. There's nothing in the oath that is taken by any DOJ official that indicates express loyalty to the president. In fact, the oaths that are taken by DOJ officials indicates loyalty to the Constitution.
Yeah, that's every public office. But what I'm saying is that the current, as of right now, the DOJ is extremely loyal to the president, including the AG, and they've literally fired many AGs who have not gotten on board with the Attorney General of the United States, Pam Bondi.
Yeah, and that I would
So
argue
who would
that
bring
that's
charges?
a violation of the Constitution.
100% agree. I mean, they're supposed to have a review before they're firing these people.
I think God of Stability is on our side, but he's just a little weird. With
I know he's on our side. We should get back to talking about how fascists control our government and they need to be punished duly.
So, as I said, it's not in the Constitution that he has this immunity. The Supreme Court is corrupt. They gave him this immunity out of thin air. He's been using this immunity. He gives illegal orders. He has done illegal things almost every single day of this administration. We can go through them if you want to. He's been bombing boats and saying it was Pete Hegseth, and Pete Hegseth did do it, and those are complete war crimes and because we're not in war.
What's the war? What's the war?
There is no war. There is no war.
Okay, so how's it a war crime?
There isn't one.
Exactly. That's a contradiction.
You can commit war crimes
you can't
not
have
at
war
war.
crime and not be in war.
If you start a war, is that a war crime?
It was a crime because of international laws, our domestic laws, and the laws of Venezuela in that area.
Show me the international laws. Show me the international laws. Show me it's illegal.
Sorry, do I need?
Show me the international.
I need to show you the law that says it's illegal to sink a boat.
I'm sorry.
It's illegal to kill people. It's illegal to kill people.
Because you know what it's called? You know what it's actually called? It's called maritime law. So it's not a war crime.
I'm sorry. Do you understand that? Do you understand that you have to prove in a court that this is a drug boat? You cannot just bomb the boat and because you think it's a drug boat.
And then spin the block and blow them up again, right?
You have to prove that 9/11 was a terrorist attack.
Before you can fire on a terrorist that's shooting at you, you have to go to court.
The Geneva Convention.
Let me show you why that logic is so retarded. Wait, do I have to prove in court that 9/11 happened?
Hang on.
That's basically what you're asking.
What is going on?
That is so retarded. That's absolutely retarded.
I think the education system has failed.
For the benefit of the
They have to go to court for 9/11 in order to be valid.
Hey,
go to Afghanistan.
It's
like, that's retarded.
So when you see a boat in the water, how do you know that this is a drug boat? That's first of all. Second of all, even if you do confirm, even if you were to be able to confirm that there's drugs on that boat, how do you know that the people on that boat are like drug dealers and they're not?
Fishing boat. I know what a fishing boat looks like.
You can't just blow people up and then kill them in the.
Or you're Americans and all of a sudden you drop your weapon and we can't kill you. Fuck that. No.
That's like me saying, are you justifying that it's okay for cartel members to import illegal drugs into our country and poison American citizens?
No, that's why you arrest them.
Okay, then.
That's like saying, hey, you stole a pencil, and then I kill you, and then you say, hey, you can't kill him for doing that. So we should be okay with them stealing our pencils.
My point is logic. Nobody was making that argument here.
So but that is the argument you're making because who do we kill for selling drugs or dealing drugs or shipping drugs?
Did I say what he said?
That's not the punishment, right?
Did I say it was okay to kill
every single person selling drugs, peddling drugs, importing drugs should be in jail or
to be clear, if you argue
should be in jail. How do you put them in jail if you kill them?
I want to
you want to take it in the butt, right? Like we don't want to do that. We want to give it.
Okay, so you don't care about the law. Can't you just say that?
The recent behavior of the Trump administration regarding the Venezuelan drug trafficking is not a war crime, then yes, you are justifying war crime. Yes.
That's not a war crime, dude, because there's no war. That's a contradiction.
Why does it matter?
I'm sorry. Just because the United States has not officially declared war does not.
I mean, I hope you realize this would have been a war crime if it was a war. It's even worse when it's not a war.
You know what's funny about that? It actually does. It actually does. You know why? And it's not even a constitutional argument. That's an international law argument too, by the way. Because that's what the international law says.
It's wrong within our laws as well.
Unless you're saying
it's wrong within our laws as well.
With law, wait. If you understand law better than the whole UN, be my guest. Please, go ahead. Tell me why.
According to international law, Geneva Convention does not apply unless you are... It only applies if you
international law doesn't make the distinction whether or not you have
you make the distinction. You make it. That's what you're saying.
Oh, yeah. The people make the distinction.
So you make the distinction.
Wait,
can you answer my question? You answer my question. Do you make the distinction?
Hang on.
It's just a yes or no.
The RSF recently engaged in large-scale of Christians in Sudan, right? You would agree that that's a war crime, despite the fact.
No, it's not a war crime.
No.
Despite the fact
It's
that
not a
the
war crime.
RSF has
We
not
just
declared
answered your
war.
It's a humanitarian
Despite the fact that
crisis.
the RSF has not
It's not
declared
an it's not a
war
war
against
crime. It's a humanitarian crisis.
It's a crime against
humanity. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's a humanitarian crisis. It's not. That's not a
crime
war
against
crime.
humanity is a like this is a rectangles and
But
squares
that's
problem.
a domestic
right?
issue. That's like me saying that. That's like me saying that since the North and the South went at war with each other, they committed a war crime because they're at war with each other and they're killing each other because they're in a civil war. That doesn't make sense.
This is a rectangles and squares problem. All squares are rectangles,
Can you
not
tag
all
out?
rectangles are squares.
Tag
Okay,
me
I
in.
agree with you. It
Tag
wasn't a
me
war
in.
crime. We should blame the people who killed shipwreck victims.
Again, you
Go away
still have
scot-free,
right.
not charge
does
them
not
with
apply
anything.
unless you are at war with another nation. Period.
Thank you. And that's international law says. Unless you're saying that you interpret the law better than the whole law, then be my guest.
I'm sorry, you guys do not understand international law.
So stupid.
You guys do not understand international
Like,
law.
why are you saying? Why are you not? You can't commit a war crime unless you're in war.
Do you understand that things that are war crimes are actually worse when they're done in not war times?
Yeah. So, is it your allegation that the United States cannot have committed any war crimes during the war on terror?
Sir, that's a contradiction because we were already in war.
I'm asking you. I'm asking you a very simple question.
Yeah. Yes. The answer is yes. Obviously. You're in war.
The United States could not have committed.
What are you not understanding? What are you not understanding? The war on terror. So obviously there's a possibility
I'm yelling
of
because
war
I'm outside.
there's a war. There's a current war on terrorism happening.
If I don't yell, then my microphone.
That's
won't
why
pick
I'm
me
saying
up.
there's a clear distinction when there's war and when there's not war. That's what international law says. You can't commit a war crime unless you are in war. That's my position.
What's it called when you do something that's a war crime and it's not a war? What is that called? Excessive force?
Excessive use of force.
You think there is just excessive force?
Well, when it comes
Excessive
to the
use
military,
of force. That's what it's called. You can make that argument.
Do you think that's criminal?
Instead of calling it a war crime, I can still man this for you.
Do you only care about the fact that they called it a war crime?
It would be better for you.
Is the only sticking point that someone said a war crime?
Wait, hold on.
We can call it something else if that you feel better.
Listen. It'll be better for you. It'll be better for you to give you. It'll be easier for you to give a justification, even though it's still hard.
That's exactly right.
It'll be easier for you to give you a justification to say instead of saying it's a war crime that it's an excessive use of force.
Okay, and when your whole family dies from a terrorist attack, I'll say that was just a really excited propaganda.
I think it's illegal. I think it's legal.
Yo, can we get to the actual meat of the conversation?
Do you think that it's grounds for dismissal?
Jesus Christ!
Like
no, I don't think it's grounds for dismissal. That's why it's still under review now. That's why it's still under review now. Nobody's dismissed the case.
Do you think that if Lloyd Austin, do you think that if Lloyd Austin had targeted civilians in Yemen, right, intentionally, right, do you think that Lloyd Austin should have been dismissed for excessive use of force?
Well, obviously not. But he didn't.
I think Obama should have been
obviously not
impeached for excessive use of force. But
that's like me saying Obama should be dismissed because he bombed marriages.
I'm not asking about the president. I'm asking about the Secretary of Defense, right? If Lloyd Austin had
I don't think
had ordered.
I'm saying no. He shouldn't have been dismissed.
If Lloyd Austin had
I'm
intentionally
saying no. My answer is no.
No.
My answer is
Secretary
no.
of Defense, Secretary, whatever you want to call it, should never be accused of a war crime or have any.
Please, they're focusing on you because they feel like they have like an edge on you.
Why not?
Tag me.
Because they like fighting legal arguments instead of the actual arguments about what we're talking about. It's so fucking annoying.
That's a contradiction. They're both
why
arguments.
not?
One's about legality.
You see, like they're so hyper focused on base because they're getting their dopamine.
It's not morally good to blow people up that are clinging onto ship.
We're not talking about morals.
I don't know why you're not talking about morals. We're not even talking about morality.
Everything comes from your morals. Where do you think laws come from?
Yeah, your morality.
Do you think that the Nazis should have been charged with war crimes?
That's why we're Christians. Dumbass.
If you make something evil legal, who gives a shit?
Let's start with basic.
Well, you can't
Let's start with basic. Do you think that the Nazis should have been charged with war crimes?
Do I think the Nazis should have been charged with war crimes?
Yes.
Well, obviously, they started a war. And yes, they did.
It doesn't have anything to do with whether or not they started a war. It doesn't have anything to do with whether or not they started a war. It has everything to do with
he's a Nazi then. What the fuck?
their conduct within war.
He's being
right?
satire. I mean, you can't take a joke, right?
Okay, let's go back to this fascism point.
He's being serious
because they were taking orders from.
I want to be clear. I want to be clear.
Now, if they went outside of that,
I have to
aspect,
disagree with
outside
that.
of their scope, then yes, they should be.
I disagree. You know why I disagree with that? You know why I disagree with that? Wait,
why?
I'm talking. I'm not even talking to you. I'm talking to Nuremberg. I'm not Nuremberg. I'm talking to the cucumber.
Put his ass in Nuremberg.
Can you shut the fuck up, please? I'm trying to collect my thoughts.
Yeah, I got
Anyways,
you. What's up?
What I'm saying is that because they try to use that same argument of why their justification of what they did because they were just simply following orders, but we decline that pretenses because we appeal something higher than this whatever their orders or bosses would tell them. We apply the human heart that everybody knows the law. That's what Nuremberg trials did. So I disagree that they should have still been accountable for what they did, even if they were following orders, because they could refuse those orders as well.
But here's the thing with that whole Nuremberg trials and all that other bullshit that went
I
on
think it's
right
very
after World War
special.
II. Hold on, just a second. Is that we also took a bunch of the scientists that were doing the horrific experiments on the Jews and twins and all that other bullshit, and they came and worked for the United States government. They had nothing. They didn't go to court. They didn't do time in prison. They didn't do any of that shit.
I got part of it. Yes.
What?
No,
I don't know
they
if those
didn't.
were the exact same scientists. I mean,
Most of the high value scientists that were doing like ridiculous experiments that we got from Germany,
and you could say that
were
you're forcing
exhumed
them
of all their horrendous things that they've ever fucking done.
Yeah, but now they're forced to work for you. You could say there's a bit of a quid pro quo there.
That's not the same though, because other people get fucking prison or the death sentence or whatever. But
we're the scientists, the one gassing Jews in the chamber. No,
they were experimenting on the Jews, and they were experimenting.
Yeah, I'm not saying that's okay.
Sure, but like we had so much value to extract.
I'm not saying that's okay, but at least they actually have a justification because you're doing a job, they advance research, but they were actually doing orders.
Agree, like they're doing a job. Once they get out of their scope of their job, then they shouldn't be charged with a crime.
What I'm saying where we disagree at is that one was in the context of being like a fucking watchtower. Like let's say I'm a guard tower. I'm giving an order that, hey, press this button. Even I don't know what it does or anything like that. I press this button, and I find out that I just killed a bunch of Jews, and then I do it again, and then I do it again, and I do it again, and I do it again. Go ahead.
But whether you're in war or not, if you're ordered to like shoot a baby, you should understand inherently that this is illegal and you should not do that.
Okay, that's even a very simplistic view. I'm not.
Well, yeah.
That's still subjective though, because what if they come from a background that babies isn't wrong?
Yeah, what if that baby had a gun?
That could be subjective.
I'm not trying to derail into a theological
Sorry,
argument.
it's obvious that these.
That's what it's heading
to. Go around and fuck 8-year-old boys.
Can we get back on the topic of the law?
It's obvious that
no, it wasn't law. It was fascism. Don't try to switch it up. We were talking about fascism.
Yes, he breaks the law and he's a fascist.
About fucking an 8-year-old.
Okay, so breaking the law means you're a fascist. Got it.
No, if you break the law because you're an authoritarian nationalistic, you're a fascist.
So outside of what you think is right, you're a fascist. Got it.
No.
Right. So So the law is just what I think is right. Good job, man.
No,
that's what it sounds like because it's not the Constitution.
That is exactly what I said. I said if you break the law as an authoritarian for nationalistic purposes, you are a fascist. And he said, oh, so if you don't like it, you're a fascist. Okay.
It's given the context of where that law
All we need to do is just deport every illegal American in the U.S.
There's no such thing as an illegal American.
Yes, there is.
Illegal American?
No, I said a legal immigrant. First of all, not
Well,
illegal
no, you said an
You
illegal
You
American.
misspoke. It was a misspoke.
Oh, I misspoke. I misspoke.
Do you agree?
Every single illegal in America needs to be deported.
But,
Period.
I mean, he said illegal American, right?
Wait, how do you
He
do that?
misspoke, apparently.
How do you do that?
We don't be
I'm
enforced
sorry.
Title
So,
8
do
U.S.
you
aliens.
agree?
Yeah, how do you enforce it? How do you do that? What do you
Well,
do?
apparently they pay
ICE.
taxes, so you can find out where they live.
ICE.
Let me ask.
Yeah,
let me
but
ask this
the
really
point of them
quickly.
paying taxes is they're supposed to be insulated. They should be able to pay taxes and not worry about being deported, right? Because you would rather than pay their
They're
taxes.
still taking.
Because you would
so
rather
we
than pay their
ignore-
taxes
no,
than
illegals
not
need to
pay
be
taxes
So we
and stay
ignore
here.
federal law. Wait, but I thought no one's above the law, though, right? That's what you said.
Sorry,
According
what
to
did I
James
say to
Madison, right?
contradict that?
Hold up, because if they came here legally, just because
Yes.
they paid taxes doesn't mean they're excused. They
That does
still
not
broke the
mean they're
law.
excused. It means you have
Okay, so
separated
what's
the
the
data
punishment
from the
be?
IRS.
I want to be very
It
clear.
means you have
What's the punishment be
separated.
for breaking the law?
Do you
What's the
guys,
punishment
do you
be?
guys
It's very
agree
simple
that
here.
undocumented immigrants are
Please,
not
Maze.
illegal
Please,
immigrants.
Maze.
necessarily illegal?
Please, Maze.
Yes, they're illegal.
Illegal. Anyone
Illegal immigrants
No.
are illegal.
I'm asking
Maze,
you.
come
Do
on.
you agree that
please. No definition
undocumented
argument.
immigrants
I'm
is
not playing semantics with you. They're
necessarily
illegal.
illegal?
I'm not playing semantics with you. I'm not playing
Here.
optics.
It's not. It's not
I'm not
semantics.
playing
It's
games.
about the
I'm
law.
not here to play
I'm
games.
sorry. You guys.
I'm not
You
here to
guys
play
wanted to
games.
be. You
I'm
guys
not
wanted to
playing
be
games. I'm
sticklers.
not playing
You
games.
guys wanted to
They're
be
illegal
sticklers
immigrants.
about
I'm not
international
playing games
law.
with you.
You guys
I'm not
wanted to
playing
be
games with you. I'm
sticklers.
telling you
It's
as a
not about.
grown
It's
man.
not about
They're
playing
illegal
games.
immigrants.
All right, you're
It's
I'm
not
getting
not
about
muted.
playing
playing
optics with
games.
you.
Let's-
I'm not
It has
playing
let's
games
move
with
on
you.
from that.
They're illegal.
What
They're
I'm
illegal.
asking you.
Period.
Illegal.
Let's
has
move on
Illegal.
from
nothing to do with
this.
playing
Anybody that
games.
They're
came to
illegal.
America.
Period. I'll repeat myself again. They're illegal immigrants. Thank you.
Were you one of the people who
I'm playing
agreed?
games. Go ahead, Logic. I'm not talking to this
Being
guy. Go ahead, Logic. Please.
Drainibu, did you agree earlier
I'm
that
not
it
playing
was?
games with you, Maze.
Bro, come
Please. I'm
on.
not playing games with you.
Mace,
Go ahead,
once
Logic.
again, if you come into America without a visa or immigration status, it is. Yes.
It is.
No. If you enter
It literally is.
It's cucumbers. Entertain this guy. Stop
Okay.
entertaining this guy.
Do you?
Darius, I turned him down. Go ahead, Logic. I turned him down. I'm not even listening to him. Please go ahead.
So you can say that there's illegal immigrants
Go
and
ahead,
all
Mace.
of that.
Go ahead.
Oh, well.
Jesus Christ. Oh my God.
Enter the U.S. Right? There are people who enter the U.S. They get their legal documents, right, and they are legal immigrants. Then
Nope, they're illegal actually, but
there are people who enter the U.S. illegally, right? That is to say that they do not enter through a legal port of entry. They cross the border illegally. That is a misdemeanor. That is illegal. But there's a
Yeah,
third kind of
it's
person.
carried out. It's enforced as a misdemeanor, but it's still a felony.
There's a third kind of person. There's a third kind of person that enters the United States through a legal port of entry, right? But then subsequently they fail to attain the legal documentation that is necessary. That is being an that is being an undocumented immigrant.
No, you were right the first time. You said illegal.
It's just illegal. Which is illegal.
To be clear, it is not illegal. It's not
they should
illegal.
have left. They need to leave. So you have to have proper. Hold on. You have to have. You have to have proper documentation to enter the country. You have to have proper documentation to enter the country. Period.
Sorry,
You enter the
hold
country
on.
with documentation, like let's say you're getting a green card, right? You get your green card. Cool. You come to America. And then your actual immigration status gets denied, you have to leave the country.
Mace, when you make the legal nuance arguments, it's not going to be very powerful because they would just, even if you were to win the argument, they would just say, okay, I want to change that law, even if you were to win this. So there's no point in having that argument.
Well, thank God we have checks and balances, so we can't just fight that racism was okay now.
For anything.
It doesn't matter.
I don't care who you are. You can be from Africa, Europe, fucking Asia. I don't give a shit.
I don't care either, and I'm black, by the way, too. So I'm not racist.
Deport them. Mace, easy argument. Mace, easy argument. Deport them. Deport them.
I'm not saying I can't be racist.
Deport them.
I'm not saying I can't be racist, by the way. I'm saying that if I don't care about
hang
these
on, let
things,
the guy
though.
go. Calm down.
I give
Yeah,
absolutely
I'm
no
aware
fucks
that you
about.
don't care. Allow me to make the argument, right? It is at least in the United States, it is at least a misdemeanor to enter the country illegally. That means
Yes.
that you
Which is
you
what?
come in. Stop. That means that you come into the United States through a non-legal port of entry.
So
right?
it's
You don't
illegal,
jump over the
correctly?
border.
Oh, illegal.
Yeah,
That doesn't
it's
change
against the
anything.
law.
Let's
Because
start
it's
very
illegal to
simple.
Gotta
come into
still
the
have a
United
question.
States through a
Wait, gotta
non-legal
still have a
port.
request.
Just because,
Let's
just
start very
because it's
simple. Why do you want to
Everyone,
deport
stop talking.
illegal
Let him
immigrants? Why do you want to deport
because
illegal
they
immigrants?
came here illegally. That's the law. That's what the law says.
If the
They have to
law
follow
said
the
that they
law.
can do that, would you then be like, okay, they're fine to stay?
Yeah, if the
Well-
law said that they were allowed, if the law said that anybody was allowed to cross the border with,
Then you
with
would
no
be fine
documents
with
and
all the
anything,
immigrants that
then
are here now,
yeah.
and you would not be calling for them to be
in
deported.
that context, right? In that context, my opinion would be that we need to change the law. That would be my opinion.
Okay, that's exactly what I said, right? That's what I said you would say.
Hold on.
No,
If
it's
the
not
law
about what
said
I
that
would say.
anybody can
I'm
come
going
to
off the fact. I
open
was just answering the
borders.
question in that context. I'm
Right,
saying that
so I would want to get to the actual meat.
I'm saying in reality.
Holy shit! Everyone,
I'm saying in reality what the
fucking
law.
Mike, you guys are just talking
Yeah,
over each other.
yeah,
No
so-
one's able to understand anything anyone's
I
fucking
think
saying.
we're
I'm
having.
gonna
I
start
think we're
timing
talking
people
just
out.
fine.
Been able to make my argument.
So
I'm gonna start timing people out.
So
so
I'm
what is your
asking,
argument?
why
As
do
the
you
fucking
actually,
Mike.
why do you
what is
actually
your
want
argument?
people to be deported? Like, what is your reasoning for that?
Because according to the law, if you don't come here,
But you already
to
said
report a country-
said not to do that,
Wait,
you would
Hey,
want to
Logic,
change the
I'm
law.
answering
do you
your
understand what
question.
past the mic is? Do you want to stay in this fucking channel and have a debate?
What?
Or do you want to be gone for a fucking hour? Your choice.
Are you mad?
I'd like to
Pass
make
the
my
fucking mic.
Yeah, we're having a productive back and forth with Rainy Boo.
I'd like to make my argument really quickly.
I was trying to respond. Okay, go
Yeah,
ahead,
it's
make your
fine.
argument. I don't want to over talk. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mace. Go ahead.
So, if you enter the United States illegally, you're considered an illegal immigrant. However, if you come through a legal port of entry, and then you fail to acquire the appropriate legal documentation to become a legal immigrant, that is not a criminal offense. Okay, that's considered
It's a civil. Yes.
That is considered a civil infraction.
It's a misdemeanor.
And
It's a misdemeanor.
It is
Yeah.
not.
point.
No. It is not a misdemeanor. It's considered a civil infraction.
Yep, which is
Crazy
exactly why
story.
which is why
Yeah,
they
that's
don't
the
need
same
a trial
thing as
or
a
a
Class C
exactly.
misdemeanor, ticketable offense.
It is not the same thing.
It
Okay.
A
is.
Class C misdemeanor,
It is
ticketable
not.
offense
Well,
is a
no,
civil infraction.
Hold on. No, he's technically correct on this. It is not a criminal infraction to overstay a visa or to overstay and not be able to provide documentation. However, it is a civil offense, and you can be very easily deported for it. That's the reason why you're not entitled to a trial when you're on the verge of being deported by ICE.
What?
Not in every case, yeah. And it just depends on the
Sorry,
context.
you are entitled to
How
a
would you
trial.
prove?
No,
How
you're
would you
not.
prove
No,
someone
you're
did
not.
something then?
No, you're not.
No, you're not.
I'm
10
sorry,
out of 10
like,
reasoning.
The Fourth Amendment applies to all persons.
For
No, it
criminal cases,
doesn't.
not civil.
That's
All
not true.
For
Okay,
criminal
so
cases, not
so hang
civil.
on.
That's
So
not-
so even
I mean, it
even
applies in all
despite it being a
circumstances.
civil,
No,
hang
it
on. So
doesn't.
even
The
despite
Supreme
it
Court
being
all
a
ruled it 2019.
civil
naturalized persons.
holy shit, people, instead of
No,
even
it
if it
doesn't.
is
The
a
Fourth
civil
Amendment makes no
immigrant,
distinction. The
if
Fourth
it
Amendment makes
even
no distinction
shut
between
up for 5 seconds,
naturalized
my
and
guy.
unnaturalized
I can
persons.
fucking stay here and
Again,
debunk your
it's a
fucking
civil
point,
offense. Therefore,
or
you're
you're
not
gonna be
entitled
fucking
to a trial.
gone, okay?
No,
Wait,
Because
you're
even
Christian
though
not
it's a
Scott.
entitled to
civil
a trial.
offense, what is the punishment for that civil offense underneath that fucking statute for illegally
Deportation.
crossing
Oh
or
wait, you're
overstaying your
You get
fucking
not
visa?
right at all. Fourth Amendment
You
protects
get
individuals
transed
from
immediately.
unreasonable
No, it
searches and
doesn't.
seizures. So which amendment do you
Because
want
you
to say
overstaying
again?
you overstaying your visa or crossing here illegally still leads to severe consequences such as removal / deportation behind
Yeah.
and bars you from reentry for 3 to 10 fucking years. Okay.
Right, but you're still.
Even though it's
you're
not a
still-
criminal offense
You are still
itself.
owed due process. You are still owed due
Okay.
process.
Okay, yeah, the due
define
process is like,
Tell me
hey,
what
did
that
you have
is.
this visa? Oh
What
my
is
god,
that?
this visa's expired. You're still
No,
here.
no,
You didn't
no,
put
no.
in to
Due
renew it.
process-
That's the due process.
That's
Do you
not
think a
due
due
process.
process needs full jury
due process
trial?
is not mere administrative. It's not a bunch of people.
Base, do you think we
sitting
should have a
behind
jury trial
desk
for
and
every
saying,
single one of these people?
Due
You
process
give them a
means
judge
habeas
trial.
corpus.
They do. They all see a
Justice was
judge
presented
and they get
before a
their
judge.
sentence.
So hold
Not
on.
right
They had due
now.
process coming into
Yes,
the
they do.
U.S. with a legal visa. They
Well, hold on.
overstayed.
This gets even more into it because
Like,
a lot of the
I mean, if it's a civil thing and not a criminal thing, why do we have to have a magistrate
So
before a judge?
we don't need an
due process
A
changes.
lot of
Do you want to move in a
item.
private channel,
a
Drainy
lot of the
Boo?
deportations that we are seeing from
You know
ICE
what,
are coming
please.
with final
Jesus
deportation
Christ.
orders signed by judges. They have already had their due
What was
process.
that?
A judge signed off on their
Let's go
deportation.
to chill. Let's go with
Yeah.
just chill. Cheers for a way.
So what are you going to say about that?
Sure.
So yeah,
No,
so
they haven't had their
That mod is on. All the mods in here are on like power trips for no reason.
It's not even that. It's just that some people we're just not making any reground.
The mod wanted to ban me just for talking.
We're not making any leeway here. And it wasn't even you talking. Oh, that's the funny part. I don't even know. It was somebody else. It was Mace talking, and it was like derailing
Mace
shit.
would not stop talking, bro.
He just went monologuing, and he wouldn't get to the point. I'm like, make a point. God damn. But
hey man,
anyways,
someone who comes to the U.S. legally is now not legal. It's just a
it's so
civil
retarded.
offense. How do you deport them?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not playing games. I'm not playing games. Okay, I'm actually here to have discussion, exchange ideas.
So
yes,
there's lots of things to consider whether you even want to put the resources in to deport these people, because sure, they might have committed the crime, right? If you want to call it a crime, which it isn't, but even if you want to say, okay, this is a crime, I want to get rid of these people, is it even worth the resources to get rid of these people when these are people who are contributing to your economy?
It actually is. If you actually look at the statistics of how much it costs to, I don't want to I don't want to get into like very, very specifics of things, but from what I understand from people I know that work in healthcare, just as an example, right? Just as an example, I knew an ER nurse, dated one for a little bit. She was out in Southern California, and it was to the point where they would go into the ER for basically any ailment you can think of. It could be like they were sick, like, oh, I have the flu, or I have the cold, or I could have my limb missing, whatever it is, right?
Okay.
Well, the issue, what they ran into, and once again, this is anecdotal, you can say that, whatever, but this happens across the U.S. to an extent. If they spoke no English, they would treat them and just send them on their way. They wouldn't even bill, they wouldn't do anything. So all that cost for the doctors, for the medicine, for everything goes on to the other people who go into the ER who can pay, whether it's Medicaid, Medicare.
So what ends up happening is that the hospitals are usually reimbursed
it's not just hospital.
for that.
Just,
well,
no,
they're
so
reimbursed by the government
pays,
for emergency room.
Hospitals in general, and I don't want to say this like throughout the entirety of the United States or throughout the world or whatever, but
they
for the most part, like you go to an ER, for example, and you get 2 ibuprofen, and that costs you $50 to get 2 ibuprofen because that's all you needed. Well, that's because the hospital has to make sure that the emergency room, meaning for emergencies like people getting gunshots or hands cut off, whatever, has to keep every single medicine stocked and up to date, which is a lot. It is very expensive. They also have to keep doctors, certain type of staff. In ER specifically, I'm talking about ERs.
Yeah, but like, why would the rest of the hospital be out of ibuprofen, right?
No, I was just giving an example. All I'm saying is I know a lot more about the medical stuff than the average Joe.
I don't know what that has to do with it, because I'm talking about the economic impact.
For example,
sure, you could say they go to the emergency room and they use that service because they can't have health care.
That person, like I was just giving an example of a cost, just to put it into like your mind and a perspective.
Okay,
right?
But do you know how much we make from them? Do you know how much it fuels the economy?
Depending on the area, not at all, because a lot of hospitals are running net negative, every year to year because
that's not because of
certain
immigration.
hospitals. Do you know? Hold on. What are the different triages or not triages? What are the different trauma levels that you have to have per hospital?
I know there's different trauma levels. I wouldn't know them.
You know how many doctors per trauma level that you have to have in the physical hospital at any given point in time, and how many you have to have on call. That shit's expensive.
What does that
right?
have to do with immigrants?
No, I'm trying
what does
to
that
get
have
to a
with
point.
immigrants?
It's running an emergency room is very expensive depending on the area you're in.
Yes, an emergency
So
room
like
is
if you're
expensive.
if you're running a level 1 trauma center, you got to have like a neurosurgeon in the hospital 24/7 plus a certain amount on call just in case, right? You're talking about $3, $4, $5 million a year just for those 3 people to be at that hospital.
Yes.
All right.
And someone goes in and guess what? The only doctor available is that neurosurgeon. They're going to get billed for those hours. Like it's going to go against their hours to treat that patient, even if it's not like a neurosurgeon patient. Right?
Hospitals get reimbursed for emergency room visits that go unpaid by the government because the government has mandated. That's because the government
cost on the government.
Yes, because
right?
the government mandated that emergency rooms treat people no matter what. So since the government has mandated this, they also reimburse them. That is why they do it. I think that's very fair.
That the people who go there with insurance get billed a lot more, but yet those people who come in who are illegal or undocumented, however you want to describe them,
because
go
they
into those
can't
emergency
pay.
rooms to get their flu treated, and they don't pay a single cent.
I'm sorry. If you went to if you go to the emergency room for something truly trivial, they will simply turn you away.
No, they don't.
They're not forced. They're not forced to treat you for something trivial like I need an ibuprofen.
Not in America. Not in America, because my sister was a poor ass fucking person and literally on Medicare, Medicaid, whatever it is under a certain age, whatever that the government subsidy is. She would go to the emergency room to go for flu, for cold, for fucking the sniffles, whatever, for her children, for my niece and nephews. She would go to the emergency room. She wouldn't even go to urgent care because urgent care, she would have to pay money, but she went to an ER and didn't have to pay anything, and they would have to treat them.
Okay, but like she wasn't even an illegal immigrant. Like,
she was an American. Who
what does this
never
have to do with
worked a day
illegal
in her life.
immigration? Like, I don't see the connection.
Because you shifted the conversation.
No,
so the thing is
He's
that
gonna
the
talk about
government pays for all the shit for ERs and everything else that they shouldn't be paying for because people abuse the system.
Okay, so you're saying so you're going to make the argument that illegal immigrants are using
don't tell me what I'm making the argument. Respond to my argument.
Well, no, I'm saying it back to you so I know I'm responding to the right thing. Okay? You're making the argument that illegal immigrants are using emergency rooms and putting a strain on financials for hospitals or the government in this case because they pay the hospitals because they're illegal and they don't have health insurance. Is that the argument you're making?
And they go off scot-free and they don't pay a single cent. Yes.
Okay. First of all, this applies to every person, illegal immigrant, legal immigrant, or U.S. citizen with no health care.
If you are in the United States and you have a social security number or a green
card, you do not
and you
have to provide it.
They destroy your credit if you don't pay it.
But you understand you do not have to provide it. You do not have to provide any identification.
But
whether you're an American or not.
It depends, because like you can have like emergency life-saving surgery, and you'll be presented a bill, but it won't destroy your credit. You have to pay that bill over time, like with the plan.
It depends. Sometimes some states,
whatever, right? Like
but in the states, I think. Wait, can I kind of like steal man?
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say like I think what you're trying to convey, which you're not wrong, but also I think it's important that you should mention this. That it's not the fact that they're like. The doctors are not being paid, is that they're backed up. There's too many people in here that includes that's applied that people are coming
No.
here illegally. Wait, yes, it
No,
is. Because you said
he's
they're
making the
illegal.
argument of money. I don't think he's saying that the hospitals are backed
I'm
up.
talking strictly on money, like
Okay,
because
so you're making some money.
every ER has to have a certain amount of staff depending on the trauma level that ER is at, right?
But
Every
you would say,
ER is different.
So
but I'm saying though, like because they're backed up and they don't have that level of staff, that's could be a net loss and for that hospital because they're so backed up with so many people. They're not any
Depending,
different
like
trauma
there's so
level.
many different variables, and that's why I don't want to really get into like the very nitty
Yeah.
gritty of like logistics within like
Okay.
medical systems because there's so many things that you can just branch off to and be
Okay,
like, well,
well,
this thing says this, but
Okay,
this thing says this,
I want to
right?
get past this point because I don't feel like it's very important, which is first
What
of
I'm
all,
saying
it
is
just
that
doesn't
illegals go to
matter.
the ER to get care, and they don't pay a
Right.
single cent, and then they get fucking sent off, and
Right.
that
This is
is
100%
costing
true
the
for
hospital a
this.
lot more.
Sure, this is 100% true for anyone though. Legal, illegal, or US citizen, you can go to the emergency room, not provide any identification or anything at all, pay nothing, and then leave. This is a loophole. This is a I
Yeah,
don't
that
want to
doesn't
say a
happen
loophole.
because of
I want to say that this is actually a feature of the system because they don't want people to die instead of going to the emergency room.
I can agree with that. I can
That is
agree
the
with
reason
that
for
in that
this.
context.
Okay?
Yes,
like
I agree with that.
there's
So
certain things.
I wouldn't
yeah.
so I'm not so I said loophole, I don't mean loophole. But you also have to understand how much immigrants put into the system, and not just all
They
immigrants
don't
but
put
also
enough.
illegal
It's actually a
immigrants.
net loss by hundreds of millions of dollars a year.
Can we talk?
First of all,
Can
if it
we,
was a
like,
net loss by hundreds of millions of dollars, that would be a drop in the bucket. I wouldn't even care about talking about it. But
Yeah,
second
we're
of
talking
all,
about
it's not. I don't think it's a net loss.
Well,
And
I
in
think it's
fact,
actually billions, but
I think I think the answer
no.
could be both, depending on the so I would say for the corporations, like business wise, it'll be a net positive. The reason being is because you don't have to pay them actually minimum wage that will be required compared to a legal citizen, and also under the table, and also they're under a
annual
limited contract.
deficit
Yeah,
in
and
2010, annual deficit of illegals in 2010 was
hold on.
54.5 billion.
We're not. I'm not even getting there
if you're
yet. I
gonna
haven't got
give
there
if you're
yet.
gonna
I haven't
like
got there yet.
make numbers and claims like that, you'll have to send a source, and then we can look at it.
Yeah, but
and if you want to, you can send a source.
but logic. I'm talking from purely what I think both of us know, based off the like we can see how people work in like in the business world, right? I actually have this person in my job who's illegal. She was a chef. She's from Mexico.
Right, and so when
She's
you
paid,
have illegals,
she's paid like 15. Like they I guess they treat
Sure.
her different. Some people treat her different. Like it just depends on the corporation. Like some people like treat them
and this is
differently.
the
So
economic stimulus that we
yeah,
get from
but
these illegal immigrants.
now
as
I
well.
would say that's what I'm saying. Like
Just
on a
depends
macro
on the
level,
state.
I'm saying on a macro level. Well, it just depends what you're talking about. So like obviously for businesses, because like one of the most expensive things for businesses when they're evaluating how much they make in profit is that their expenses of like paying their labor workforce, right? So obviously paying everybody this strictly like minimum quota can be a lot expensive, right? And if you're trying to grow your profit margins as years come over time, yeah, you're trying to tighten that gap as little as possible, so you can slowly increase your profits increases.
Sure,
So
it is
but I
technically
think,
good
but I
for
think for
businesses
the,
in that way.
but I think for the macro, I think for the like macro, like talk about like taxpayers, I think that's a net negative because for at least American citizens' perspective, because like
So-
for like the Commonwealth people like us,
So-
like lower income or middle class, I
So
don't think
I
anybody's
have
gonna
to say
do
something. What do you think the average illegal person or undocumented, however you want to say them, how much do you think that they make per year?
Oh,
in America.
Oh, not much.
No, logic.
Yeah, probably not much.
Yeah.
So how much are they paying taxes?
They would be paying taxes, whatever the tax bracket is.
When you say not much, how much do you think per year? Like
Well,
on average, I'm
would-
not trying to play gotcha,
I don't know,
right?
maybe like 20 to 30K if I had to like.
Okay,
guess a number.
under 40,000, you really don't pay much, if any, taxes. If it's 20K or lower, I don't think you pay any taxes.
No,
at
it's
all.
you don't pay any taxes if it's under like I don't remember the exact number, but like so way under 20K. If you're making 20K, you are definitely paying taxes. You're probably paying around 22, maybe like 20-25%. Okay, and yes, those people do contribute. I file
So,
my own
no,
taxes, so I'm very familiar if you want to
Okay.
get into that.
Federal taxes,
You
10% from 0 to 11,000, 12% to
and then take out
48,000.
the standard deduction, which I think might be, I don't know it off the top of my head. Was it like
I think
4 or
it's like
5,000?
7,500?
7,500.
I forget
maybe.
what the standard deduction is.
But yeah, by the end, you're still paying taxes.
But
But here's the thing: how can they pay taxes if they don't have a social security number
because
or EIN?
the IRS gives you a number to pay taxes.
That's the EIN, but you have to have a green card to get one.
No, you don't. You don't. An illegal immigrant is required to pay taxes just as much as a U.S. citizen is.
But they do need a social security number. It's
They
not
do
just
not need a social security number. No.
Unless, well, they don't need. You're right. They don't need a social security number to work unless they're getting paid.
I'm sorry. I said
But for
EIN.
paying taxes,
I said
they do.
EIN. That
But for paying
EIN is a different thing.
but for paying
ITIN.
taxes, they do.
Maybe,
But paying taxes,
I don't
They need
know.
to have they have to have an ITIN. But to do that, you have to apply for a green card. If they're not applying for a green card, how do they then pay taxes?
I mean, I can look it up right now, but I can almost guarantee you do not need to have a green card. You do not need to have anything in order to pay taxes. The IRS is more than happy to take your money, even if you're a drug dealer. They want your money.
Provide a source.
Okay,
from the federal
let me
government, it
look
says.
this up.
I have it right now. I've been reading.
I mean, it says from the federal government. Where is it? An ITIN is a 9-digit tax processing number issued by the IRS for individuals who need to have a U.S. taxpayer identification number for tax purposes, but who do not have and are not eligible to receive Social Security. Filing to get an ITIN, an individual must fill out. Blah blah blah. Where was it?
Yes, it's issued to individuals who have a U.S. tax filing requirement, but do not have and are not eligible to obtain a social security number.
If they decide to do that, right? So if they're selling fruit on the side of the road, do you really think that they're paying?
Well, if they're selling fruit at the side of the road, then I guess not. How many illegal immigrants do you think are selling fruit at the side of the road?
In my city, almost all of them, because they all got fucking
you
pushed
have
out
to
of Home
understand that if like 1% of these people are doing that, and you're in a city with a high immigration population, most of them are not doing that, but you're still going to see
one
a lot
of the
of them.
highest, but yeah.
Sure, but it's just the whole argument is wrong here, because if you are working, you're going to get an ITIN so that you can pay taxes even as an undocumented immigrant. You don't have to be applying for a green card. You don't have to qualify for a social security or have a social security number. Just none of that.
So you think that they're okay to stay in America at that point?
That's not what I said.
We
were just arguing whether or not they were actually paying taxes or not.
Okay, so let's say they're paying taxes, right?
Yes.
They're paying a very minimal amount of taxes for how many people?
$96.7 billion in 2022.
Yes.
For that they paid, right?
Yeah.
Was
I'm
it
pretty sure they
96?
took more of that back, because if you do an
No, you
ITIN, you also
can't.
can
You
get child
can't.
tax credits.
No, you can't.
You can
You
get
can't.
WIC. You can get all that other shit.
Okay, well, I'll Google that right now. Can an illegal immigrant via ITIN get child tax credit?
I'm seeing it right here, but yeah.
So, Cucumber, you're saying they're a total,
Only if the qualifying child has a social security number. So if their child is a U.S. citizen with like a social security number, then they might be able to get that. But they themselves, as just like illegal immigrants, are not going to be able to qualify for that. And that makes 100% sense.
But
right?
regardless of child tax credit, they can still apply for other government assistance, which takes more than what they're paying in taxes.
You can't qualify for any government assistance, anything, if you don't even have a social security number. The only reason that they can even pay to the IRS is because of the ITIN, and the ITIN was specifically made because the IRS was like, hey, there's like all of these illegal people, and we need and I still want to get money from them. That was the whole purpose. The whole purpose. They're not getting any of tax money back. The only possible way they get anything back from the system is the way that you said, which is maybe they go to the emergency room every once in a while because they can't actually have insurance or anything like that.
So
That's the
Pew
only
Research
way.
Center says that 70,000 immigrants, illegal immigrants who don't have social security numbers, who are not here legally in Minnesota, get fucking oh shit, my bad. Oh, I just lost my train of thought. My bad.
I thought you were reading, not thinking.
Jesus Christ. I was reading and then I got distracted by my dog. I'm trying to find it again. My dog's a fucking shithead. 70,000 unauthorized immigrants in Minnesota's labor force in 2022 received SNAP, TANF, and Medicaid.
Illegal immigrants received Medicaid.
Unauthorized immigrants.
Okay, well, I'm sorry. That unauthorized immigrants is not an illegal immigrant.
So
Yes,
I think
it is.
that,
That's literally the definition of it. But
okay, well, you can send me the thing and I can take a look at it. But illegal immigrants definitely do not get Medicaid or SNAP or any of these benefits.
I'm reading this. Right? So based on my understanding, so the ITIN we were talking about earlier, so it does not require a green card. Wait, hold on. It does not require a green card. So logic's right about that. It doesn't. But the reason why it only allows them the ability to pay for taxes, which the requirements is only a valid ID, a tax return legit, and there's a real reason to tax, right?
Like so the
only requirement is that you have taxable income.
Wait, I'm not done. But here's the reality though, is that nobody does that because one, even if then, it doesn't give you legal authorization to work. You don't have authorization to work or a path to citizenship, even if you apply for these things.
Here's the really important things you're missing.
How are they paying taxes?
I'll explain it. I'll explain it. I know the conservative manosphere will never explain this to you, so I will explain this to you. The IRS wants their money, okay? And they understand that if, hey, you're doing something illegal, but I still want a cut of that, even if it's illegal. Even if you're not supposed to be here working, if you are working, I want a cut of that. And so the IRS says, hey, if you don't pay, we will find you, we will take you to jail, you will be deported, there are consequences for not paying. But if you do pay, we are not going to share your information with the FBI, with local law enforcement. We're not sharing that information with ICE, okay? We're not doing any of that. So you pay us, you're safe, you're fine. That information is confidential within the IRS database, okay?
I understand the IRS says that all income earned in the U.S. is taxable regardless of immigration status.
Regardless of illegality or legality, if you had the right to work it or didn't have the right to work it.
I'm still saying that doesn't give them approval to work here in this country.
If you want to make the argument that they should be deported anyway, then sure, you could make that argument. But the IRS, they are being taxed.
I still have a justification. But
you can have a justification, okay.
And I acknowledge that, right? But I'm saying that, don't you think that it's a little bit shady that corporations get to abuse people for imported cheap labor domestically so they can pay them under the table and just more increase their profits rather than for the benefit of the actual consumers like us citizens? I think that's a big concern. I think you agree with me on that.
So here's how I look at it, okay? The way I look at it is literally every single person involved in this benefits. And that is why it's kind of stupid to have large scale, angry and motivated deportation strategies like what Trump is doing. And the reason everybody benefits is because they benefit, the immigrants benefit because they probably are leaving a place that is worse, where they can't even find a job, right? And coming to the US to work, okay? They benefit even if they're being taken advantage of. The companies benefit because now they have more employees. And I know Trump loves to say we're going to get Americans working and Americans are going to take all of these jobs back. There simply aren't enough Americans, okay? The economy, all economies across the world are being strained. Yes, all economies across the world are being strained because the population does not keep up with the demand of the economy. Okay,
Yes,
we
we
have
are
an
low. We are below
amazing.
replacement level. We are below. You are
Yes,
correct. We are
the
below
U.S. has an
replacement level.
amazing advantage there because everybody wants to come to the U.S. and work, right? This is such an advantage of the U.S. And right now, we have those people. Some of them are illegal. Yes, they came in through unofficial means, overstayed their visas, did whatever. Sure, and they're still contributing to the economy. They have jobs that are good that Americans probably would not work if they were gone. And by contributing to the economy, prices are lower for everybody involved. Everybody benefits from having the economy be stimulated in this way. So the consumers are benefiting, American citizens are benefiting, the government is benefiting, the economy is benefiting, the companies are benefiting, the illegal immigrants are benefiting. Everybody in the system is benefiting. And so when you come in and you're like, but they're illegal and I want them gone, it's like, okay, you can justify that by saying like, okay, they're illegal, but why? It doesn't feel like you've actually made this from like a logical place. It seems like you're
I
angry
do have an
or
argument
upset.
against that.
Go ahead, Cucumber, and I'll respond afterwards.
Hold on, sorry. So the biggest issue in my mind, right? So someone comes here illegally, let's say 100% illegally, like they didn't overstay their visa, they literally just crossed the border and fucking came here and got a job.
Okay.
And they're willing to take a job. I'm just gonna throw out a number. I don't want to get hung up on like specific
30K.
numbers, but let's say it's a fucking they're gonna go work for a construction company for $8 an hour, right?
Sure.
Because that's way more than what they're gonna make in whatever country they come from, whether it's Poland, UK,
I don't think illegal immigrants
Mexico,
from Poland
whatever.
are coming in here.
Well, I'm just saying, like,
Okay.
wherever you're coming from, you're coming to
Okay.
America, you're taking this job at $8 an hour, which is way more than what you're going to make in your previous country, wherever you
Sure.
came from. What happens is that now those companies are going to want those same people to work for them because I'm not trying to like diminish like their work ethic, but they're going to be harder working. They're going to do maybe a better job or the same job, right? But that job should be, let's say, $14 an hour for the average American to go and get that job.
Right.
The issue that comes about is that
you're gonna say it lowers wages for everyone else.
It lowers the no skill jobs.
That's just not borne out in the data, though.
Unfortunately,
it really is. It really
So,
is. Like if you look at it, like technology sector has dropped significantly.
That has nothing to do with it. You think the immigrants are coming in and taking over the technology
I'm not saying
section.
that. Well, actually, it's not the immigrants. It's fucking outsourcing to fucking India. But,
it's not even that. It's just the tech bubble burst. That's all that was. It has nothing to do with outsourcing to India.
There's a whole bunch of issues. Like
there was a whole bunch of issues.
But in instances, like they're gonna come here and get a manual labor job because those are going to be the companies that don't really do background checks on people. They just hire whoever's going to fucking work, right?
Yes.
And that can deter, or not deter, but take away from somebody who would be willing to work there for a little bit more money that is an American citizen.
Sure. So I don't know. There's 2 to 3 issues with this, which is the first one is if you were to take these illegal immigrants out, you would actually not be able to fill those roles. You would permanently have vacant roles all across the United States. And not only that,
more competition.
Well, no, like the people picking strawberries in like the California Valley, they're not going to be filled by domestic workers. Like
yes,
Americans will not do this.
I really don't.
It's going to be
honest with you, but whatever.
Well, given the context, they don't want to compete with. They don't want to compete with like undermining wages. They actually want to be paid for worth.
So let me make the argument, which is
go ahead. I have a specific example that I do want to say, but go ahead.
I'll give the example so I can reply to it too.
So, in my area, I live within the DC area, like the NCR. So I live in Virginia, for example, right?
Okay.
And I wanted some work done in my house. And normally, I grew up in Michigan. I lived I lived
And
in a
as a
couple different
consumer, you got
countries,
like
whatever, right?
like an illegal Mexican because he was cheaper than an American worker.
Yeah. So in Michigan, you go to fucking Home Depot, Lowe's,
Right.
whatever, and,
Yes.
and see the people hanging out in the parking lots and be like, hey, you
Yes.
want to do some work on my house? And what's your
Yeah.
what's the rate? Blah blah whatever.
Yes.
They're day laborers. Like I have no problem. And in my area, I went to Home Depot and I asked some day laborers like, hey, what's your rates? I want some new tile put in my floor, right? On just one floor. It's a very simple job. And they were like, oh, it's going to be $80 an hour. And I looked at them, I'm like, I can literally go and hire the company my dad works for that does tile and carpet and shit way cheaper and have them come out to my house
than
what you're charging.
Sure, but
that's ridiculous.
What's your point?
No,
I would make
like
the
I said,
argument
it was
here
just an
that
example. I was just saying, like, I can
Yeah,
literally
so-
hire a company in Michigan to come out to Virginia
Right.
cheaper than hiring a day laborer to come out and do the same job.
Okay. Well, let me
What's your
respond
point,
to
then?
all of these points.
They got greedy, is all I'm saying.
The immigrants got greedy.
They fucking got greedy, dude. Like people in my area, like it's a rich area. Like I'm not rich, but
God forbid they were
that-
rich
rich
with
area.
standards of living, right?
Okay, well, as a
and people
consumer,
here
it's your
will be
choice to
like-
not hire them. Then that's completely your choice. And the
And it's
point
funny,
is that
after,
they're
like,
actually
3
right
years
there.
after that, like there was like no more day laborers in that area, and not because of ICE or anything. It's literally like nobody wanted to pay that because they were more expensive than hiring a contractor. to
Sure,
come
but
and do
that's
it
that's
under-
pure capitalism right there. That's perfectly fine. If they end up pricing themselves out of their own market, then they're idiots, I guess. But the point
Oh, yeah.
here is that
it was. I was like, dude, you're gonna pay. I'm not paying you $80. I could do this for like $80.
Right.
Like there's a price to like do something. You know what I mean? Like, oh, do you want to go and rotate your own tires? Like, not really. But if it's a $400 to rotate your tires, it's like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna do that myself. It'll take me like an hour to do, right?
Right. So for your previous points, if you were to remove illegal immigrants and they didn't have those jobs anymore, you would not have more competitive jobs in those areas. Well, you would have more competitive jobs in those areas. But the issue is you would never fulfill those jobs, right? And what you would have is that low skill labor, the wages for low skill laborers would go up because these companies have to fill these positions. And when that goes up, you'll find that prices for literally everything else goes up. That is the recipe for inflation. And people think, oh, when my wage goes up, that's good. Yeah, that's good if it's keeping up with inflation, not if that causes inflation. And in this case, if you remove the workforce in order to raise wages, you are literally creating inflation, which is not good for literally anyone at all, right? And this is why these illegal immigrants, when they're in
short-term.
here, not sure, it would be full term.
No, I just
there's no such thing as deflation unless your economy is like destroyed. Okay, so inflation
no,
comes
I'm not
in
saying
and
that
does
there's
the
ever gonna be
damage.
deflation. Like nothing's gonna get cheaper.
Yeah, it will never get
in
cheaper,
theory.
right? So you would just have to keep having wages increase over time, and then how would you do that? You would need more workers to come in and do the work and try to stimulate the economy again, and then that might even lower your wages in the short term. Who knows?
So do you think that minimum wage should be increased?
I believe every state has like its own minimum wage. I think the federal minimum wage is insanely.
There's a federal minimum wage.
The
Minimum wage.
Yeah, the federal minimum wage is insanely low, but it doesn't even matter because
Can I
all states pretty
respond?
much have their own minimum wage.
Can I respond to your labor skill?
Yeah.
So I think it's just an oversimplification. Cause I think my opinion is more nuanced than that. Because is that it's not the fact that Americans won't do those jobs because of low skill labor. It's just the fact that they don't want real wages pushed down because of illegal labor competition. We all know
Well, I
that
think
if you
it's like
as the wait, hold on. We
as a
all know
price.
we all know that as the workforce increases, wages vary. Some sectors go down and some go up. Right?
Sure.
That's how supply and demand works. It's like when we let women. It's like when we start letting women into the workforce in certain
Why
jobs.
did we ever
Wages
do
went
that?
down. I know, right? Right
Well,
in
women shouldn't be
1960.
working,
I was
first of
being
all.
sarcastic, please, bro.
That's a different tangent, but I think it's equally. I think it's a good point to say that I think it's fair that some people are not willing to work for like such hard conditions for such a like low output in return, and it's just
Right.
not worth the incentive to work. They're not giving that incentive to work. Now, me and you already agreed that we are below replacement level, so we're not in that bargaining position. I think if circumstances are different, I think your opinion would be changed, possibly if the circumstances was different. But I understand.
So,
No,
But
and
I'm talking to
to
logic.
be honest, like if a job like like working construction, for example, let's say it paid like $35 an hour, like there's going to be people flocking to that like it might be temporary, and they say fuck this shit, this is too hard on my body, and they leave. But there's definitely going to be more pool to choose from than saying, oh, we're going to hire this person in the States that doesn't have any documents for $12 an hour, right? Because that company that's hired by the state is already getting a shit ton of money to do that job, basically an unlimited budget in reality to repave a
I don't think
road
that's
or to
true.
put in a fucking barrier on the side. Oh, it really is. I've talked to like people working in that industry. I know a guy
If they go above budget, sometimes the construction just never finishes, and you just have like a destroyed area forever.
Well,
It
I mean,
really
that
depends.
can happen, but it depends on it. So when one of my friends, his dad owns a construction company in Michigan that is the biggest construction
Why is
company
everything
for the entire.
anecdotal?
Like, I mean, when you
I
get
don't
down
know.
to it, though, like the state is going to give them whatever basically money that they want because they're
Well,
hired by
no.
the state to do that work.
That's
Like they have to
corruption.
bid. They have to bid.
Yeah,
And but
there's
the
bids.
thing is let's say you bid on it's like the fucking F-35 when the F-35 came out, right? All these companies bid on the what that plane would have been. It's like the F-35, Boeing did one, Northrop Grumman, et cetera, et cetera. They all
And
made
you're
the
saying
same
that if the illegal immigrants were not there, there would be a better pool to choose from, which is more competitive because you don't have that get out of
No, I
free
wouldn't
jail
say it's a
card
better
option.
pool. I wouldn't. No.
I don't
It's
see how this is tying back to legal
yeah.
immigration. This is like economic policy, which I'm all here for. You know, we should.
I think my position is much stronger. It's
Yeah.
'cause the problem with keep coming. Like I agree with you
Fuck
on
illegals.
principle.
Just deploy.
I
I
agree.
don't
I
give a
agree with you
shit.
on principle. Is the problem is that
I'll pay more money. I
you
don't give a
have
fuck.
you have to have external like
Why?
type of like you have to
I'll
have an
pay $20
external
a
perspective.
strawberry if it wasn't picked by an
Cucumber.
illegal.
Cucumber. I feel like the problem is why it's not connected compared to like when I said what I said is because you're using anecdotal, so it's not like it's under your perspective instead of
Well,
like an external
Drainey,
one.
you said that your argument was that when the illegal immigrants are here, they're driving wages down. I think that was your argument,
Yes.
right? Well,
Yes.
I would say that is not true because if you remove these illegal immigrants, there would be nobody to replace them. The wages are not low because wages aren't low because illegal immigrants are coming in and taking your job. Wages are pretty fine right now, and
Oh no, they're not.
No.
well,
You're
the
saying
economy itself,
you want to go
economy
pick
itself is like a
strawberries
whole
for
thing.
$4 an hour? Like,
But hold
Well,
up, but
it's not because
wait,
it's illegal.
let's let Logic finish. Hold on, go ahead.
Right.
Logic.
So if you were to remove these illegal immigrants out, you would never replace them. You don't have the workforce. You don't have the Americans necessary to come in and do these jobs. And if an American does want to do that job, he is going to ask for more money, right? So the wage is going to go up, but not in a good way. This is not a good way for wages to go up.
Can I give my rebuttal?
Just the last point is that you do not want wages to go up because you've removed the workforce. You want wages to go up naturally as a result of your
I agree,
economy.
but hold up. I'm saying historically, that's not true because before even large scale of illegal labor in most industries, Americans we did factory work, we did meat packing, construction, mining,
Before or after
agriculture.
minimum wage?
Right. What before
That
or
was
after?
minimum wage.
This is all during minimum wage. But
Okay.
the fuck.
I
But,
mean,
America?
yeah, I'm
in
not talking about that.
America, bro.
I'm talking about current day economy times. Yes, minimum
Okay.
wage.
But
But so
yes, obviously
not slave labor.
Americans.
So those jobs weren't desirable. We can agree on that. Nobody wants to be told what to do, you can say. But
Sure.
people did them because their wages were fair relative to the economy.
Okay, but like
So
you
what? And
understand.
my argument. Wait, hold on. My argument. The
Okay.
reason why nobody's taking those jobs is because there's no incentive to. Right? People go where the money follows. Right? People follow where the
Right.
money's at. So that's just how market behavior works. That's why I'm saying to you that I don't think they're like a whole digesting. And let me clarify, by the way, I'm not anti-immigration. I just think we're importing large loads of people in such a short time span and not letting the people who come here legally and illegally that we have to digest, right? Because if we don't digest, we become unsustainable and we're going to throw up more than what we took in and we're going to
Sure.
lose. You see what I'm saying?
Sure.
And so
So
and that's why I'm saying that we need to protect not only those people who I know are being in desperate situations. And
right.
that's a fair critique. I'm not inhumane, but we still have to protect our own, right?
Right.
And
You
all
don't
the
lock,
illegals that
so
come to the country don't get jobs
you
as
lock your
well.
door. You lock your doors because you're not scared of the outside. You lock your doors because you want to protect the people you
right.
have in your home.
I understand. So
That's
I have to clear up some misconceptions here. The
Okay.
US immigration has absolutely nothing to do with helping people because out of the kindness of our hearts. If it was in the US's best interest to not have a single immigrant coming to this country, 100% that would be the policy. Okay,
I agree.
And that's what
agree.
conservatives make it seem like that should be the policy because that is what's best for America.
Well, hold
Democrats
on,
are the ones who.
Just a second, because that was Donald Trump's policy from 2016 to 2021, right? Is build the wall, get illegals out of here, deport them,
Right.
et cetera, right?
Right.
Do you agree with that?
The wall was always
I'm
being talked
making
about.
I'm making the argument. I'm making the argument against this right now. What I'm saying is that
I'm asking you during Donald Trump's presidency.
Yes, I'm against most of his
2016.
policies. Yes.
So
including the
that was
immigration
bad, right?
policy. Yes, that was
so
bad.
when Biden came into office,
yes,
it was okay to allow all those illegal immigrants or undocumented, however you want to talk about it, into the U.S.
It was
correct?
okay to allow immigration. So what the argument that I'm making is that conservatives write this narrative that
I'm
immigration.
talking about presidential policy.
Let me just make the point. Let me just make the point.
I'm trying to get to a point.
But you did cut him off though. You did cut him off before.
Okay, go ahead.
So conservatives make this push this narrative that immigration is bad for our economy and it's bad for your wages and it's bad for everything and that we need to stop it. But the Democrats, they just love illegal immigrants so much that is absolutely not true.
Oversimplified. I think it's oversimplified.
It's not just oversimplified. It's the exact opposite. The Democrats are allowing immigration because they are the fiscally responsible ones. They are the ones who look after the economy. Every economic boon we've had has always been under Democrats because they listen to the science, they listen to the economists.
Labor, yeah.
That was literally the South, but we're not going to get into that. They love to listen to the science and the economists and all of these people. And all of these people understand unequivocally you need immigrants. You need immigration.
And I have a question.
Well, I'm not even finished here. So it's not that. So when you say, "Oh, we have to close the border, right? Because we have to protect our own first," this is protecting our own. When we bring these people in, these people are coming in to work for us more than themselves, if anything. That's why we let them in. And there's not going to be a throw up of this. Instead, it's almost like when you close the border, it's almost like you just stopped eating entirely. That's how bad it would be.
Yeah.
And when you say that the last, I forgot the first point that you made, which was the immigrants.
I said, you can continue after I said. So I said the first point I said is that response to the desirable jobs, right? I said that historically lots of
Oh
Americans.
yes, Americans worse. Yes. So
yeah,
on that point,
we did
yes.
X amount of jobs, like these
Yes,
jobs.
yes. That is true. The difference is that now we no longer do those jobs because we have so much more jobs in other sectors and in other fields to do. So when I tell you, yes, these illegal immigrants are here and they're doing these jobs and they're doing a good job and they're stimulating the economy, you're like, well, why don't Americans do those jobs? Americans cannot do those jobs without sacrificing large swaths of our economy to like China, for example. We do software, we do car manufacturing a little bit. we do all of these other like high tech. Yeah, debatable.
The
But like
last part of the manufacturing process.
Continue.
But we do like all of this high level manufacturing in the US, right? Where I don't know why people want to be like Mexico. Why do you want to be like Mexico where Americans are on the fields, they're picking the fruits, they're in the factories, they're doing all the menial labor instead of what Americans are doing right now, which is the office jobs, which is the executive jobs, all of these jobs that people in Mexico would kill to have, but they can't have it, right? They can't have those jobs. They're doing all the menial labor jobs, right? And when you say, oh, let's get rid of these immigrants, you're saying, Americans, leave your desk jobs, leave your office jobs, go into the fields.
Okay, go ahead.
No. So I have a good argument against this, right? How many people in America that receive SNAP do you think work 0 to very little, meaning like less than 5 to 10 hours a week, receive SNAP?
I would imagine probably a good portion of them.
And I'm not saying like, oh, people who actually need it. I'm saying like able-bodied people who can go and do some work, right?
Well, they are working by your definition. Some hours, right? 0 to 10 hours.
Yeah, like 10 hours a week. Like that's
I mean,
like
they're
going
probably
in-
part-time. They might be struggling to find a job.
Oh, part-time.
Or raising children.
Well, you said that there's so many jobs that they
or
can't
raising
find a
children.
job, right? Like
Sure, but as an illegal
there's so many
immigrant
jobs
taking
out there,
your
they can't find a job.
Sure, but are
Like-
illegal immigrants taking the job that you were going to look for? Like, let's
But
say
here's
this
what-
person,
he-
let's say
here's
this
my-
person's
here's
like
my
going to
proposal.
retail
Do you
stores
want
and.
to hear my proposal?
Sure, I don't think I'm gonna
I think
like
we
it.
should have a similar and now I don't say this lightheartedly because I don't think that we should take other systems from other countries and implement them into the US like some other people do, right? But I do think that our welfare system could be implemented if it was implemented in the correct way. Let's say a perfect world in the US implemented the right way.
Okay.
We take the people who are on welfare, SNAP, whatever else, right? And we actually, the government goes out and says to whatever company, it could be CVS, it could be fucking Farmers United, it could be you go pick fucking strawberries, whatever it is, right? But you are going to do a job at least 20 to 30 hours a week. And then you can receive those benefits. And I'm not saying that the people who actually need it, like if you're in a fucking wheelchair and you have what some disease that doesn't allow you to stand or like talk or anything, like I understand that aspect.
Doesn't
I'm
SNAP
talking
already
about
have all of these rules?
No, they don't.
It's dependent on
And you-
different states. Different states
It's
have
state to
different
state
rules.
dependent,
And-
but
and-
most
but you
states
also
don't.
can't- you also
most
just can't
states don't.
perpetually
like
be on
Michigan
SNAP
didn't,
for the rest of your
Michigan
life.
doesn't, California doesn't, Minnesota doesn't. There's like over half the states that don't.
Sure, but like you
force
also
you
can't
to
be
have
on
to work.
Yeah, but you can't also be on SNAP forever, right? There's like a time limit. At some point,
Yes, you
have
can.
to find.
You
I
can.
don't think that's
So
not true.
there's loopholes. There's loopholes in that, right?
What, you change
So what I'm
states?
saying. No, in every state there's loopholes. Like my sister was on welfare and SNAP for like 18 years. Even
You
though
keep
in
telling
Michigan
me
you're
illegal
only
immigrants are doing these things, but it's always your sister. So, I
well,
swear to
because my sister's a
God,
piece of
man.
shit, and this is what
It's
this is the
always the
information I have to
sister.
go
I'm
over.
telling you, like,
What I'm
it's just
telling you is that people do this in the entirety of the United States. That's why there is a welfare, like you go to fucking Section 8 housing, those people teach other people how to do that stuff so that they don't have to work and they fucking get free housing or very
Section 8
cheap
is
housing.
not free.
I said free or cheap, right?
So
like
what Section 8 is free?
So the people that I know in Virginia are renting their house to someone through Section 8 through Virginia, and that person is only paying $70 a month
That's
for
not
that
free.
house.
That's not.
That's a great deal.
But I said I didn't say I said free or very cheap.
Okay, well let's get past
right?
this point, but I'm just gonna reply to it.
Let's get to this point of instead of having the state that gives people just lump sums of money, whether it's SNAP, welfare, whatever, invest it into companies, whatever that company is. Like they have to. I don't want to get into the legal matters of that shit, but let's just say company Farm Industry Incorporated says we'll be involved, and basically the government gives that company the money, and that company then gives that person the money to work for them. So they have to work for their SNAP, they have to work for their welfare, they have to work for their benefits, right?
Okay, well that
It's what
sounds a
Japan
little
does.
ridiculous.
No, it's exactly what Japan does, and it works fantastic because it gives people a sense of purpose. It gives people a job. It gives people something to be productive other than sitting on their ass at home for most of the week, not doing shit.
Well, let me reply to the entirety of that by saying, first of all, I don't think I don't think it's a good idea.
With anything I say.
Well, I haven't even started
you
rebutting.
Want people to be lazy and not work, and
I haven't even started rebutting, my guy. Calm down.
So what I'm saying is that
what I'm going to say. Yes,
the government spends. Okay. Let's say it's 15 grand.
All right.
Let's say it's $5,000 a month for this person to live at this house with SNAP and everything.
Okay.
They give the random farming company that money, maybe a little bit extra for hiring them, and they go and pick the crops, they go and pick the strawberries, they go and pick the bananas, whatever the fuck it is. That creates
you want to put that money
people,
into
right?
companies so they can pay these people so that they're getting it on the condition of work. By definition,
and if they don't work, they don't get the money. The company doesn't get the money.
I understand. So let me dissect all of this. Which is, first of all, I don't like the idea of having fake jobs like that. That doesn't seem like a smart thing to do. It seems like
that takes away the jobs that people don't want to have, and forcing people to do the job, or they don't get the government assistance.
Well, first of all, this is going to be way higher in scale of government assistance because SNAP is a very, very efficient system of delivering food to people who need it. Yes, it is.
60% of people on SNAP don't even fucking work. That's not efficient.
I mean efficient in terms of how much food you are getting for how much money you are putting in. If you do something like Meals on Wheels and all of these other systems that try to deliver food to those who are needy, they are way less efficient per dollar. You're talking about something completely different. You're talking about recipients. You're talking about recipients. I'm talking about the efficiency of the money being put in versus the food that is coming out. That is all I'm talking about. If you think everybody who's... Okay, if you think that's dollar for dollar, then other food assistance programs are less than dollar for dollar. Okay, that's all I'm saying. That it's an efficient system of delivering food to those who need food.
Okay, let's say it's not.
I haven't even made the point. You just interrupted me in like the middle of the point to say it's not an efficient system.
Go ahead.
It's an efficient system, and if you try to change the system by trying to like funnel the money through companies, and then those companies have to funnel the money back to the workers and I guarantee you're going to balloon the cost of these programs way, way higher, because now someone in that company needs to be in charge of taking this money, finding a job, creating a job, finding people to hire, hiring these people, training them for the job, doing the job, and all of these things. All of these things cost money, and you're going to be funneling this money through.
Why does it work so well in Japan?
I don't know. I don't believe you, actually. But like, if you want to send me a link to what actually happens in Japan, because I'm not gonna just take your word for it.
In Japan, they literally like get construction workers and fucking hire
well,
them.
if you want to give me,
can we stay on topic, please? Can we just stay on topic?
If you want to give me a link for that, then I will happily take a look and see. But I can't just take your word for that.
Finish your point, Logic, though. Finish your point.
Okay, so, and first and second of all, welfare costs the taxpayer so little money. And there are so many regulations around it. You can't be perpetually on SNAP. I don't know what your sister did. Maybe there's a loophole, but that is not how the system is designed. If there is a loophole, they should close it. Okay, if there's a loophole, they should close it. If there's a loophole, they should close it. But it's not designed for you to be perpetually.
Dude,
it's not designed for you to be perpetually on SNAP, and there are work requirements.
I'm not
per
just saying
state.
SNAP specifically. I'm saying welfare. If you're on welfare, you're gonna be on SNAP. Like that's a given.
Sure, but welfare is such a small part of government spending. It is an insanely small part of government spending.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes, it's
only like 2 or 1%.
Yeah, like it's such an inconsequential amount of the government spending that I don't even care. I don't care if like there's 1,000 people on a program and like 5 of them shouldn't be on that program. I just don't care. I just don't care. And trying to optimize the program so that every single person on this program deserves to be in this program and not even one person can be in this program. If you try to optimize it to that level, you're probably going to end up spending more trying to weed out these people and have all these things happening and all this bureaucracy than just letting a few people who are outliers into this program. And it doesn't
It's
hurt.
not a few people. It's almost everybody, but yeah.
That's just not true. The data does not support that even close. That is absolutely untrue.
Okay, in Maryland, it's crazy.
Maybe Maryland sucks, but like I can't fight you on that anecdotal evidence of your sister was on SNAP for her whole life.
My sister's in Michigan, but in Maryland, like these people went to the register with 2 carts full of groceries, and
how dare they?
They swiped one card and paid $10 out of their own pocket for like lobster. For fucking whatever else.
Let them have lobster if they want lobster. Let them use their SNAP benefit.
If you are on government assistance, you should not be able to get lobster. I'm sorry.
You should only eat beans and rice. Yeah.
You need the sustenance to sustain you to make you work and go get a fucking job.
Flour
so that you don't have to
be on consume energy balls, right?
Okay.
No, like
I disagree because now you're going to be like because now you're trying to like get into the weeds of it and be like, okay, well you can eat this, but you can't eat that, and you can eat this, but not this and this.
Caviar on SNAP.
Okay, if they want to waste their SNAP money on caviar, let them waste their SNAP money on caviar. They're just getting allotted what they were given.
I put into the fucking program. Fuck no.
Okay, but when Elon Musk puts like 5 rockets into the air, when Elon Musk is like shoving rockets into the air and they're exploding, and then he gets government payouts to keep exploding rockets in the air, and that's
budget that NASA uses. Oh, crazy!
It's not. It's more. He charges us more than NASA was doing.
You think that's
his rockets cost more than what NASA was doing? We decommissioned our shuttle, and he says, "Ooh, lucrative investment." I think it's like $7 million per launch. It's fucking stupid, and we had it like $5 million per launch beforehand.
The amount of money that just goes to subsidies for these companies is absolutely insane compared to what you would see on welfare. So if you like actually cared about like government spending, you would never even talk about welfare. It's such an inconsequential amount. It wouldn't even like register in your top 5 like spending things that you would want to cut. You would look at all these companies, you'd be like, okay, why are we giving this company subsidies? What are they doing for the US? What are they doing for our economy? Why are we giving these people bailouts? Why are we doing this? You would look at those, but because conservatives aren't shoving this into your media ecosystem, you don't even think about it. You wouldn't know what the split is for what they're spending discretionary versus non-discretionary versus what part of the discretionary spending is like for welfare versus companies versus Medicare versus all of these other things. Like you probably just don't know what these splits are. If you did, you would never look at welfare as like this insane thing.
I mean, you can, yeah, whatever. Okay, cool. Yep, you're right.
I mean, I'm always right, but
yeah, you are. Yeah.
Yeah, because like
I'll hail you.
You don't have it
programs, which is $344 million.
Again, that's like 1% of what we actually bring in.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
If you're looking at anything in the millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of
Yeah,
dollars,
that's
it
like
just
you
doesn't
might
matter.
as well be talking about a $1 bill if you're talking about.
Oh no,
billions.
that was actually 3.334 billion actually, because
that's still not
the
a
table
lot.
is in
That's still not even a lot.
We
that's
like
still like 2%.
we dropped
like
money onto
2%.
Israel just a few months ago.
Well,
that's
didn't
still
we
not
give
a lot of money
Argentina like
compared.
40 billion?
America budget
You know,
was
you know like how
21
much of
billion
foreign aid
dollars.
was? You know how much foreign aid spending we did? It's only like 0.5%.
We shouldn't do any of it.
Why?
I mean, I agree.
I
It was
don't
like,
agree
like
that we shouldn't do any of it because it was such a small portion of our spending, and yet it gave
It was
us
like
so much
0.8.
political
It
leverage
saved
over the
millions of
world.
dollars and saved millions of lives.
It did also save millions of lives. We caught Ebola early in like a completely different country, and we're treating it over there. I mean, like it's an insane thing to just cut out, especially when it costs so little. And then it's so insane to cut that out and then give Argentina 40 billion. Like I think that's like the most radically insane thing I've ever seen.
Yo, how can you not hate these people? They hate our country. They they're mocking us. They're
Like,
literally
literally.
destroying our national monuments and laughing at us and throwing parties in the style of robber barons. And also fucking children. But
Great
it's a
Gatsby
bit more
party was
nuanced than that. Because again, like we're sending money. Well, first off, it's important to realize that not all that money goes into that direct research or things. Especially when we're talking about like foreign countries and we don't even know where this money's actually being sent to the proper hands. Like if you're that naive to believe that every single dollar bill is going to like child development care or like
No, it's
medical
not.
facility hospitals,
for
it's not.
USA
That's
for
absolutely
USAID?
yes, that's absolutely like
Well,
naive
for
thinking.
USAID, like the aid went to like countries that are like in the global south or like struggling. Like I know, like after Haiti got hit with that earthquake, that just fucked their shit up.
Oh,
you know?
the Clinton Foundation. Oh yeah,
Like,
that was so good.
Yeah, I'm
That's
saying
not USAID.
I'm saying
That's
if
something
Tim
different.
Walz, is
It
getting
took money
caught,
from USAID.
if Tim Walz is governorship's getting called out for corruption and like the courts even called out like during the review of like where this money was being sent and why Minnesota is so fucked up now.
So are you
So is
saying
that
none of the money went to help any of these people?
no,
It
I'm
just
not
all
saying
got
none.
straight-
I'm just saying not all. Not all. I'm not even saying most. I'm saying
I
not
mean, if
all
you're
that
gonna
money.
say this, just send a link to something that you're referencing. We can't like argue over facts if we don't have the facts in front of us.
Well, even if we gave you the facts, you wouldn't even consider
Well,
them.
I've been
we
asking
can't
for
assume
links
that. We
the
can't
whole
just assume
time.
that. He's just asking for evidence. It's not.
Right.
That's not fallacious to ask for evidence. I asked it multiple times to him.
I feel like Dr. Cucumber, everything you say is like so inherently emotional for you. Like these immigrants, you want them gone.
Even when I said like, oh, 22% of welfare, even though you said it was like 1% of the U.S. spending, when it was 22%, you kind of
you're including you're including Medicare, aren't you?
I said only Medicare, only Medicare.
No, Medicare itself is 13, but you combine the two, they're like 23%. Yeah.
22% of the entire budget is on Medicare. Period.
No.
Okay, but like I asked you to send that link that said this so we could see what you're seeing.
Okay, yeah.
I think you by the way, how I read it,
I don't have
read
permissions
the percentages
in the channel to send, so
yeah,
I can't actually send the link.
Just DM
it. Okay. Just put it in general. Just put it in general.
I'll put it in general. You mean like actual general chat?
There's general chat, yeah.
I think the problem is that
there you go.
Cucumber, I think the criticism that lies, and I have to agree with, is that you use anecdotals like as your
I use anecdotals, but also like
I feel like if you want to actually steelman your argument, you have to take outside your experiences and actually like argue from like some position like
chat. I put it in general chat. Yep.
You know, like with like statistics, you know, like soft empirical data that we all have access to, not just like, oh, my word, and then Logic's like, oh, but I have experiences with me working with illegal immigrants, and they're not criminalized at all, right? It's like we need actual evidence. We're talking about macro here, not micro like experiences. Like, oh, this individual.
No, I fucked up. I'm wrong.
That's why it's not connecting. That's why it's not connecting into the points. I agree with you on principle. Most of me and you on the same side. I'm just saying that if you want to actually articulate your point.
Yeah, so we can see from your link, education, training, employment, and social services was 3%.
From my link, where are you seeing that in my link?
Where's it at?
From your link.
Did you put in? Did you put in general one, or did you
put it
in
in
general
chat? General chat.
Okay.
That's
and
what you
then
said to
it
put
says
in,
Medicare is 22% of all government spending in 2026.
That includes Medicaid. That's what I'm saying. That includes Medicaid. They're both
so
together.
That is
that's what
just
I'm saying.
Medicare from here. And where it
You see,
says
though?
and social services comes to 3% with education and training employment. So those are just 3% right there. And I assume social services means something like SNAP and all of these other things again. There's benefits for veterans and services. Veterans benefits and services, which is 7%. Veterans are taken care of, apparently. Income security.
Actually, not enough, but yeah.
Maybe not enough. Who knows?
Man, we get so,
I mean,
so
it's not who knows. It's literally like
I forgot how
putting themselves outside of the fucking VA.
I forgot what the point was
institutions,
about.
but yeah.
I forgot the point was about legal immigration because we dived in so deep about certain stuff. We could never stay on top.
We're in social.
Immigration is a net positive to America, and
I know, but I'm saying I forgot the previous
illegal
argument was being
immigration.
made.
So we need to allow illegal immigrants because it incorporates them more into society because it generates more wealth in America.
Who said that?
I don't think nobody said
that. Was my understanding from the argument.
Can you say that again? What did you understand from the argument?
Or not getting, but illegal immigrants or undocumented immigrants, however you wanted to classify them as, in America, contribute more to society than they take out.
Contribute more to the economy
than they take out, right?
Yes.
Okay, but I forgot I know that part, but I'm talking about the argument that was being made. Like I know last time I was listening was Logic was saying something about then it's always with your anecdotes, and I get lost in track what you're saying because it's like it's always personal and it's like it's not external.
I lived all around the U.S. I've been to many countries, and how I view Japan, like I love America, 100%.
Are you a weeaboo man? Oh, okay.
No, I hate anime. Honestly, I hate 90% of Japan, to be honest with you. But when I lived in Japan for 4 years, there were some things that I absolutely loved about Japan that I wish that America. What's that?
Are you fluent in Japanese?
No, not even.
Do you live on base? Do you live on base?
I lived on base in Japan, but I spoke at like a second grade or third grade level. I don't know anything anymore because I left Japan in 2017. But when I was in Japan, is the biggest things that I was like, damn, Japan does right is their immigration policy and how they distribute their welfare.
Okay, I forget.
Bro died.
So,
in Japan,
all right, can y'all hear me? Oh, sorry, I don't know what happened.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just forgot what was being made because I remember you guys we were talking. I made a point, and then Logic respond, and then Cucumber was like, "Hold on, I have a good argument for this," and then you went on the anecdotal, and then I forgot to end up here. And then, that's why I'm so like confused. Or, like, where we at?
Yeah. So we were discussing like the immigrants that came to America who are undocumented, whether that be before or after they came, taking a job. And because no American wants to take that job, that's good for America. From my understanding, that's like that increases supply, that increases like whatever else.
I can't set it to speaker. What the fuck?
So, my argument against that is that if we want to give out, and I'm not saying like whatever illegal immigrants, let's get outside of that, but the people on welfare or the people on welfare specifically, And if you're on welfare, you're also on SNAP because that's just how it works in every state.
When you say welfare, are you talking about the category of government spending, or are you talking about a specific program?
Okay, I gotta turn it up.
The program that the state gives out, if you make less than a certain amount of money, you get X amount of money from the state.
Yes, like through SNAP or WIC, like those.
No, it's not just SNAP or WIC. This is literal welfare. Like that's your paycheck.
What's the name of the program?
Like SNAP, like SNAP.
Well,
no, not SNAP. SNAP is literal just food. That has nothing
that's part
to
of
do
welfare.
with.
That's what he's saying, though. That's what.
Well, no, I want to make a distinction. Is that in welfare, if you are, it's state to state dependent and city, even county to county dependent, but you make under a certain amount of money, you can go on welfare. And
yes,
the
welfare
state slash county, city, whatever, gives you an excess amount of money to make ends meet, right?
Yes.
If you are on that program, you also receive SNAP and WIC. WIC is very specific because WIC is like you have a child that needs sustenance. Like that's the thing with WIC. Like if a woman's pregnant, the woman can go on WIC because the woman's pregnant and has to feed the child inside of them and other things. What I was trying to get at is that if you're on welfare, that money.
They're not the same categories, though.
Yeah,
welfare
there's
is
no
just a generic category for all these
I'm not
programs.
saying no, it isn't.
Yes,
Yes,
it is.
Okay, so
I'm
so
pretty
what's
sure
the
it is.
Well, welfare literally means tested program. That's literally all it
okay?
is.
Well,
That's all. That's how people
so what's
use
the
it. Reference it.
delineation there? Because my sister got a check from the state that was separate from SNAP, that was separate from WIC.
Was it?
So what is?
I mean, yeah, there are programs like
or
that's just a type of program.
you could have
that's
like
under welfare.
it could be like unemployment. It could be
or
it could
cash
be like a whole bunch
assistance.
of
she was
things.
never employed, so
like TANF.
Yeah.
Right. There's multiple things. They're not separate. Like
Okay,
welfare is still welfare. These are just the specifics, like details. That's part of that welfare.
Do you hate welfare just because you hate your sister or something? Because she keeps coming
don't know
up
what
like
it is.
constantly.
my sister's a piece of shit. Almost my entire all of my entire family's fucking piece of shit.
Can I jump in? Can I take over a little bit? Just real quick.
Yes,
we'll get back
please.
to that. So I want to go back to what Logic said. Right, he made some good points. All right,
As
I will
do.
agree with you on the. I'll say on corporate. I look at it as like in the corporate world, right, in the business world, illegal immigration can be seen as a net positive, despite its antithetical labor laws that's questionable at best, right? However, I do still stand on a macro level, at least, that in general, that for like the worker and middle class, that we are a net negative when we have illegal immigration coming in large amounts into our country, and we can become unsustainable. Not because it's inherently a national security threat, like, oh, we just pour a bunch of Muslims come through. Like, I'm not saying that.
Right.
I'm
You're
saying that
economically.
I'm saying like economically, clearly economically, that
Yeah.
I think we're a net negative, because I think you agree with me that you left out what I said about the digestions. I don't think. Well, no, you got cut off. That's what happened.
Well, I think I did.
You got cut off. You got cut off. That's why.
Well, I did address it. So the point that I want to make clear here is there is a lot of immigrants who want to come into the U.S. As much as conservatives make it seem like Democrats just have like the doors open and every immigrant who wants a shot at the U.S. is just getting into the U.S., it is just absolutely not true. We're accepting like a fraction of the people who actually want to come in, and we accept them basically. And yeah, the Democratic policy is always accept them as much as like our economy needs to be sustained, right? Democrats aren't opening the doors out of the goodness of their hearts. They're opening the doors for economic prosperity.
Yes.
And conservatives say that's too much. You're letting in too much. It's like, okay, well,
can I
you show the data that it's too much?
I think you're right, because I didn't even account for them. I forgot, but sometimes I forget this myself. So even if like so the conservative number allegedly, right, of how many illegal immigrants came to this country is 10 million. I'm sticking with that. I don't believe in the 20 million people because I don't believe that's how many people are even able to
No,
quantify
they say
within America.
300. They say 30 million now. It's 30
Oh no,
million.
that's
I
right. No,
have
that's
no
right.
clue.
Oh
I think
yeah,
that's retarded.
really?
Yeah. I don't agree with that. I agree with the
Right.
conservative number that is 10 million. I don't care what the populist movement says.
I don't.
I'm
Is
conservative.
that just illegals, or is that all immigrants, or is that all
I,
over the country? Is
what
that
I'm
for this year? Is that for like 5
it's talking
years?
about illegals. It was talking about illegals specifically.
That are just
10
in the
million
country right
undocumented
now.
illegal immigrants. Right. So what I'm trying to say is that even if that number is true, right, or even the 20 million, but I'm sticking to the conservative number.
Sure.
That's only like 1% of a population increase, right?
10
So that's
million?
really not even a lot in people
Is this
wise
for
and population.
illegals or is this for
That's not even
immigrants
like
in general?
that's
I
literally
think
less
this is
than
just
like
illegals.
2%. That's less than 2% of the
Right.
entire U.S. population.
Sure.
In types of in proportion with each other, right? So that's a small. You could say that's a. What my critique is it's I would agree with you that because of that, it's not only illegal immigration is kind of like it's just more like the oversimplified talking point.
It's a
But we
fad.
agreed with you. I agree with you earlier on the separate issue that we have is that we're not having enough kids,
Right.
and we're below replacement level.
Are we gonna
Right?
get into
We've been
abortion?
incentivized not to have children or with each other.
I would love to have
I'm not
babies.
saying with each other.
I think there's a couple
But with a lot of
issues.
people. So I'm saying what I'm saying is that we have a lot of other issues that are not being talked
Right.
about
Yes.
domestically, right?
Yes.
And I would
Yeah.
agree with you on principle that the illegal immigration it's kind of like a scapegoat at times, depending on the context. It's still a concern. Our border did need to be closed. It was definitely an issue.
But you can't show me any
It
data
wasn't
that
open.
actually says that.
It definitely was open. Millions of people, thousands of people cross the border every day. That was only
You had to correct yourself for millions to thousands because that's a big difference, right? Thousands of people coming across the border is
every
probably
day.
just not a big deal.
I'm not gonna say
I don't
millions were
know.
crossing the border every day. But I'm
I
talking
don't know about
day.
every day, but like even if it was every day, how much would that be like a year? Like like it's just
I'm
probably
gonna say
it probably
like 3
wasn't.
million. I don't know.
Maybe
Well,
the only issue that we seem to have at the border was that anyone could come in and claim asylum. That seemed to be to be like the only broken thing. And then when Democrats tried to fix that, Trump told Congress to shoot the bill down, and so they did shoot it
Hold
down.
on.
That's
You're
all
leaving
that
out the part.
happened.
What was part of that bill? Because what did that bill actually say? That
It was
bill
gonna
had some
allocate
shit that
funds
was
to
not agreed
create
upon.
hold
more
on.
judges.
Yeah.
I have to.
Hold on. I can't just let that slide. Like that bill has some bullshit.
Go
in it.
ahead.
For
So
example,
what was in
it
the
was talking
bill?
about we had to pay. We would pay them to return to their country. Why would taxpayers have to pay for
Isn't
somebody
that
breaking the law?
first of all?
That is-
I don't know if that made it into the final bill. But second of all, that
It
is
didn't.
literally
It
Trump
didn't because
policy
the bill
right
itself
now.
got shut down. It got shut down.
I don't know if it was in the version that got shot
Because
down.
the bill got shut down itself, and
Well,
all we needed was a new president. Thank God for that.
Well, first of all,
that's besides the point.
I don't think that made it into the bill that they eventually shot down. I don't think it was in there. But second of all, that is the policy right now. We are paying taxpayer money right now. I think it's at least $1,000 for them to self-deport. So if you hated it in that bill, that's what Trump is doing now.
Than us going and deporting them.
I'm not arguing about that. It's not cheaper, by the way. But even if it was cheaper, he said he doesn't like that. That is Trump policy right now.
Because if somebody goes and hunts down a person, it's going to cost more than $1,000 to the taxpayer.
I don't even know if we're paying them. I just think we're not giving them.
We are paying them. We
No,
are paying them.
I thought we
You can go to the website right now.
I thought if they self-deported, they have the chance to come back here and do it the right.
No, they get $1,000 to self-deport.
Yeah. So
and their plane ticket is free, their travel is free, and all of these expenses to leave are free.
They get their plane ticket and their travel expenses, and they go back to their home country, and they get $1,000, which is cheaper than ICE going around and trying to find them. And a lot of them I should say a lot, but I would say a certain.
Sure, but this is
whatever.
this is what Drainey said he hated in that bill, which I don't think was in the bill. But even
No,
if
that's
you,
not what I'm saying. No, the
even
bill
if you
was
hated it,
asking
that's
for
the policy
alimony.
right
The
now.
bill was asking for alimony that we need to
Wasn't it like a certain amount per month
what is
that
your
we're going to pay
claim?
them?
Is your claim that
Whatever
Trump
it is.
didn't shut it down?
No, that wasn't my claim. He did. It was one of the reasons it got shut. Well, Congress shut it down, not Trump.
No,
but
Trump rallied his base. He rallied all the people in the
No, Republicans
rallied a
conservatives just shut it down. It
Congress
wasn't
to
Trump.
shut it
Trump
down,
was an
yeah.
influence, yeah, but it was just
It was gonna
they shut it
pass
down.
unless Trump spoke up, right?
Well,
Do you remember?
it was Republicans a majority anyway.
So
I think.
I have to
No,
ask
I'm
something.
wrong. In the House.
That
I mean, you realize
House
that
got
bill
shut
was
let's
like
say we do something like what Japan does, right? Like, so Japan allows people to come in under. I don't want to say immigration. It's more of like
it's like a work visa kind of
what we
situation.
call like a work visa, right?
Yes.
So if America said, "Hey, we're going to allow people coming in to America to do a work under
no
a work
one's
visa
gonna like
to
this.
go and work seasonally,"
The
you
issue
have
is
to
that they
leave. If you don't leave. Well,
that is the entire issue
the thing.
conservatives have. They say if you even bring them into the country, they just will not leave. That is what conservatives will say.
What I wanted to ask is that if that was a thing, would you agree to it? Like if we allowed people to come in seasonally for work, whether it's factory work, farming, whatever it is,
We
and
don't
then
have
they go back to their
seasonal
home
work
country,
like
right?
that. Japan has lots of seasonal work. We need year-round work. We are picking fruits year-round, believe it or not. Even when those fruits are not in season, we are still growing everything. We are still picking fruits. We still need the labor year-round. Construction year-round. Everything is year-round. I don't see what this seasonal labor thing even accomplishes.
Well,
other than that, like,
then
you want them
don't allow
gone.
people to do it.
I wish you would just make the argument. It's so obvious that your real feelings are you don't like these immigrants and you want them gone. If you just say that,
I don't at all. Like,
you don't like them
if
and you want
can't
them
speak
gone.
English, fucking get out of the fuck.
Okay,
get the fuck
but
out of
don't
the
make the
country.
argument. Don't make the argument that they're illegal or this or that, because those aren't the real arguments, right? The real argument is you don't personally like them.
They're real arguments.
No, they're not though. That's what. They're just facsimiles. You're just putting them up there
Yeah.
as like a show, but in
because
reality,
if I disprove them, you're
like
not going to change your opinion, right?
No, I don't want anybody in this country who is here illegally.
Great, say
period.
that. I'm not gonna fight you on that because that's an emotional position. I can't fight your emotional position, right?
Well, it's not emotional. It's the law.
No, you're using the law to back up your emotions. That's completely different.
I think okay. Besides that, my criticism what the bill was, right? So I'll say this. There were some things I agreed with it, right?
I think it was
So
a Republican-ridden bill too.
When I look at things, right, I look things. It's just like I don't look at it as partisan. Like, oh, just because I'm Republican, I vote Republican means I have to automatically disagree with something. No, if a Democrat passed a bill that said like child porn is illegal, obviously I'm going to agree, right?
What?
I don't care about.
It's already
anything.
illegal.
You'd be surprised. I'm just saying.
What child porn is legal?
I know it's
Roblox is
illegal.
going
I'm just saying.
under
I'm saying. I'm
lawsuit
saying
right
like
now,
if it made like stricter access,
Okay,
so it wouldn't be
sure.
accessible. That's what I'm saying.
Sure,
I'm saying like I would agree. I was just giving an example.
All right.
That was my point. But my point is that like for one of the things that the bill contained was the like tightening asylum rules, right? That was one of some key things that I liked about the bill.
Yes, and more judges.
Expedite asylum processing, right?
Yes.
So it would be set up that protection and determination, like process, like asylum seekers, they can get processed faster and removed, like just like that. Instead of these long waiting times in detention centers that they're placed in sometimes when they're caught by Border Patrol.
Sure. I mean, I
But
think it was going to overall.
the criticism why it got shut down is because it failed to reach the vote for the pass in the Senate. Right?
Why
So
do you
it
think
reached
that is?
Huh? Oh, because of Republicans shut it down. Because
by the way, Republicans authored this bill, I believe, or at least sponsored this bill.
it was out there under the Biden administration. It wasn't.
It was bipartisan. It was both.
Biden does not own Congress. Do you understand?
I do realize, but you do realize that Congress was a majority Democrat. It was a partisan bill, not
Sure,
bipartisan.
but it was
No, it was
sponsored by
Oh, wait, it was
conservatives.
bipartisan. Never mind. Actually,
Yes.
correction. It was bipartisan.
Yes.
Because
So
it
why did
included
they
some
shoot it
things.
down?
Yeah,
Because Trump.
conservatives.
I feel like this is crazy because I feel
It
like
was
I'm
nothing
having.
to do with Trump. There's nothing to do with Trump. We're just talking about
I'm
Republicans.
sorry.
You already
Trump
agreed that Trump
publicly
shut it down.
said
I
for them to
I
shoot
said
down this
not
bill.
solely Trump. I'm saying Trump may influence.
It was
I agree
solely
with
Trump.
that. I said not just Trump rallied them together. It's like, no, shut the bill down. Because many House
sorry.
Republicans, even before Trump said anything, said they would block.
No, there is absolutely no contention on this point that the only
Yes,
reason
it
that
was.
this
There was
bill did
many
not
contention.
pass, if you want to Google it, if you want to ask ChatGPT, if you want to do anything like that, you can feel free to do so. This is not under any sort of scrutiny. The only reason it did not pass was Trump told them not to pass it.
I'm literally reading an article of Missouri Independent, by the way.
How about
Missouri is a
Missouri
garbage
independent?
state.
I don't care if it's a red state. It literally saying House
Okay, send
Why don't
the
you read,
link.
like,
Let
AP
me
or
see.
something?
Well, let me see the link then.
Well, you want to read ABC News? Read a Democrat website?
No, I said AP, Associated Press.
Yeah, that's also
Jesus
Democrats.
Christ.
Right?
No, it's not.
Yes, it
They
is.
are
No,
just
AP
say-
is 100%.
Do you think somebody's
left-leaning.
neutral? You think a person can be neutral? That's
No.
retarded if you do.
I don't
Okay,
think they're neutral.
Do
but I
you
don't
think a
they're-
math book is like publicly is like fucking politically leaning somewhere?
Actually,
What?
it is that decimal symbol. I don't know, man. It's pretty racist.
I mean, like
AP
what?
is very left-leaning.
Okay,
Yeah, like
if
it's
you
not
think the
even-
AP
someone
is
who
left
works in the
leaning,
White
like,
House.
it doesn't matter where it's
Yeah.
from. It's just what the source says.
okay,
Well,
Yeah,
it
but,
does
like,
matter.
I mean, it
correction,
matters
it
where
does
it's
matter where
from, right?
It doesn't matter what the state says. It could say California.
What if it's
it'd be the same
lying
thing.
to
Oh, is it
you? Have you
left-leaning? It
considered?
doesn't
Have you
matter what
considered
the
if it's
state.
lying to you?
I'm just saying, it's nothing. No source is saying Trump is the sole reason rallied together.
No source.
All I'm saying,
I can give you at
I'm
least
saying
5 sources.
there was already like support of like the bill not even being passed.
There was no support against this bill. The
It
most
was
of the
mixed support.
the majority of the support was to push this bill forward.
Yeah, the majority
And
was
then Trump
Democrats
spoke up.
in both House and Senate.
So hold on. Did you agree or not agree with the budget bill that was supposed to be passed in October?
The budget bill? Of course I didn't agree with that budget bill.
You didn't
Wait,
agree with it.
It wasn't even a budget bill. It was a
So-
continued resolution.
Yes, it was a continued
No,
resolution.
well, in
Resolution.
November before it went to continued resolution.
We don't even have a budget. That's why I was saying it's not a budget bill. It's just a
But
continued resolution.
yet
It was being
all
presented.
Democrats voted, or almost all Democrats voted no.
Obviously, they voted no. They wanted to gut Medicare.
You actually
Democrats
believe
want to
that?
vote Medicare?
No,
they-
the
Why
evil
would-
fascists controlling our government want to gut.
Why would
Medicare.
Democrats
Again,
want to
saying
gut
people are
Medicare?
fascists
No,
doesn't mean
Medicare
we're
shouldn't
fascists.
exist,
You
first of
still
all.
you have to prove a justification for that.